Are live. Oh, 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 piano live. All right. Hello, everyone. This is going to be the last stream and/or piece of content for Alpha 20, and basically, I thought I'd tinker around a bit on my final world for Alpha 20 while we discuss the some of the new stuff in the patch notes, the official patch notes for Alpha 21. As usual, we'll wait a couple of minutes here while we wait for people to show up, because obviously I never announce my streams, I just start streaming. So, I've been looking at the patch. Well, actually, they released the patch notes, I believe, on Monday night when they announced the streamer weekend. And I've already gone through them. I read everything that I understood, and the stuff that I didn't, I was just like, okay, kind of get past that stuff. But I'll tell you what, there is a lot. They are not kidding when they say that, yet again, it's the biggest content drop they've ever done, because holy crap. There is a lot. Hero loot containers. Yes, please. All new workstations, the workbench, forge, chem station. All totally new. And the forge, at least, actually shows the graphic of the forge actually changes when you put in the I'm guessing the tools are the same, the crucible, advanced bellows, and anvil. That's kind of cool. I also read in the patch notes it mentions that the cement mixer will actually rotate when it's on, when it's working. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff. More zombies now utilize the new gore system. That's a little concerning. Why does it say more zombies instead of all zombies? Does that mean they didn't add it to all? A year and a half and y'all didn't add it to all? Man, I was hoping we'd get more than just the two. An Alpha 20 and we didn't. And there's so much good stuff. I love that they're not, the POIs are now going to have names. It's not a surprise that they waited so long to do it when you've got like 500 or 600 POIs. That's a lot of names to come up with. I mean, there's a lot of unique ones, but apparently quite a few of them are the names of Kickstarter backers. That's kind of cool. Wonder how much you had to pledge to the Kickstarter to get your name added to a location. Alright. Alright, let's get started. As you can see, the Horde is almost here for day 28. Alright, give me that. 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 Yep. That, and this, and this, and that, and this. All of that. That. Take those. Is that it? Yeah, almost. I really hate stacking things like that. It looks so dumb. Yeah, these are going to rotate in the new 21. That's so cool. I'm actually surprised they don't require power. I mean, it would have looked goofy before, but now that in Alpha 21 you're not going to see the electric wires anymore, unless you've got the thing out. I think that would actually be really neat. You. I think we're good. 76 more of them suckers. Don't need. Not gonna need the armor piercing because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 123, not even close. Buzzards. Oop! Nope, didn't want to do that. I have no idea what this is. I just started placing blocks. And then... I have no idea. I was bored. It shows. Okay. That. Yeah, I think I already repaired most of this for the last Horde night. Or after, rather. Ooh, apparently not everything. Dang. Yeah, shut up. Oh, dang it. I think they mostly just hit those. Oop. Those are good. I think we're good. All my super corns ready. Oh, hey, that's right. Wanted to make. Can I make any? Yes. I only have one super corn. I guess technically I could get more. We have one. 2 is not likely to be enough. I'm guessing all I need... Wow, I could make quite a few. Alright, screw it. I'm gonna snag some more. Or, come on, get down there. Alright, 12 more. That works for me. Why not? Make them all. Alright, so now I need... Dog. Those. I'm gonna take one of those even though I probably won't even use it. Dang. Go ahead and eat one of those. I don't really need to, but... That. We have a little bit of stuff we shouldn't. What time is it? 1800? Yeah, we'll just take 2 of these now. 12, 24, 28 minutes. Okay, so the tooltip doesn't reflect iron gut. I really wish it would. What do we got? Oh yeah, machine gunner. Yep, as soon as I level up, that's going to be the first point. Iron gut, maybe... No, I wanted to do run and gun. % no penalty. Okay, good. Oop. Give me those. So we got recog, we got da-da-da-da-da, we're good. 1900, yep, they're almost. You. Oh, almost. That. Guess I could take the SMG. I think I've still got it, don't I? Good. Still have an SMG. Can I make one? Pretty sure I can't. In fact, I know I can't. Yeah. Oh, it would only be tier 2, which is what I've got. Nah, I don't think we need that. I guess we'll just leave everything on. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, I did need... Oh, damn. This one. No, doesn't look like it. Alright, very good, very good. Buzzards. Yeah, I love not having the wires. You don't see them. It's so nice. I don't even know why. Well, I know why I had it there originally, but I guess it's a nice temporary prevention. But, I don't think it's going to do much. They start... Oh, that's... Really? Okay, yeah, that should be fine. Gotta admit, I'm kind of tempted. Oh! Oops. Oh, well, it's fine. I never close it anyway. Which steel do I have now? 220? I don't really think I'm gonna need... that. Loaded, loaded, loaded. Always loaded. This is the worst when you don't have anything to do and you're just sitting here waiting. Started building the new Horde base, but since tomorrow is the early access streamer event, don't know how much more I'll be playing this world between now and tomorrow. Mostly I just wanted to stream for a bit to shoot the breeze about the... Oh, you do not belong up here. Go away. Stupid mouse. I mostly just want to chit-chat about the patch notes and stuff and some of the interesting things that I found. Hey, Sam, please welcome. I love the new shapes. I'm gonna have to really focus on trying out more of the new shapes in 21 because I didn't utilize hardly any of them. That's kind of what I was doing with this thing. I was just throwing some of the new weird shapes out. So I think these have been in for a while, but got to come up with some better Horde bases too. Well, maybe not better, but different. Been using this one for like almost all of Alpha 20, and that's like a year and a half. Really, really, really need some different designs. I'm sure we're... Gonna miss all my mods once Alpha 21 starts. We're back to no mods, not even quality of life ones for a while. Well, in my private worlds, but... I'll definitely be doing a private world probably simultaneously on Monday when I'm not streaming. Or for Monday and probably Tuesday I'll stream quite a while. I definitely plan to do many, many hours. And then however far we get on that world, that will be the experimental series that we will play mostly through experimental. And then more than likely when Stable releases, we will start our first real Let's Play. And we'll be back to, like I said, no mods. And there won't be a mixture of live streams with any of the pre-recorded series. It'll be like it was earlier in this alpha. There will be stream series, which are only streamed, and then there will be the pre-recorded series, which are only pre-recorded. What a weird word, pre-recorded. I think once the Horde's over, we'll start talking about Alpha 21. Like I said, in particular, the patch notes. I've already gone through them on Monday night. It was like late Monday. It was like 9 or 10 p.m. my time. And I live in the Midwest in Missouri. I live about an hour from the Eastern timeline. Not very far, well, probably more than that, but not much more. I'm pretty close to the Eastern time zone. And the Fun Pimp's main headquarters or whatever is in Texas, and they're at the same time, they're Central Standard Time. Almost time. So more than likely, or not more like, so that's when they, for some reason they seem to do that. They release a lot of stuff, updates, and such, like late at night, like 9 or 10 p.m. sometimes. Even updates they've released, like one of the 20 point ones was like that. No, they didn't, because they don't know. What they usually do is they
Just to let you folks know that Trader Joe's will be closing soon.
they'll release what they call the release candidate on Friday, tomorrow, to the streamers, to the early access streamers. And they'll keep fixing bugs and everything through the weekend, which is what they always do every alpha. That's not going to be any different this time. I say if, but any issues that come up with the streamers, because the devs actually, all of them, including the co-founders, Joel and Rick, they actually do go to different streamers, and they go in the chat and they talk to people. So you'll see them if you go into some of the streamers this weekend. You will see them in the chat talking, including Fatal and a couple of the other ones. Hey, Avenger! That's still alive. Well, I haven't exactly been releasing much content lately. I've been playing quite a bit, just not really recording or anything. But anyway, you will, if you go to any of the streamers this weekend when they're streaming, you will see the devs and stuff actively chatting in the chat. So what they do is part of the reason they do it is so they can see their work, and people enjoying it, but also to be on the lookout and talk to the streamers to see if they found any new bugs that they haven't caught. If so, they try to fix anything that they can reasonably, and then on Monday, they try to do a final build, unless they didn't find any significant bugs, which usually they do. And then, as soon as the build is ready on Monday, they'll release it. All the previous alphas have been around my time, usually between about 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. So, will it be that time again? Again, even they don't know. So if anybody tries to tell you that they've set a time, they're lying to you. Because the Funcons themselves do not know. They won't know until they release it. Like tomorrow, there's no way to know when they'll release it tomorrow. For the streamers. They'll release it when it's ready. That's why you probably won't see many streamers that'll, like here in the US, you won't see many of them announce, like, that they're going to start a stream early in the day. Right now, they won't say that because they don't know. They may not get it till like 6 o'clock at night. We just don't know. Like I said, but even the Funcons don't know. They'll release it as soon as it's good to go. Because you can bet they are furiously working on it on any last-minute bugs right now. Any good developer would be. So, yeah. I wouldn't sweat it too much. As they say, it's coming, it'll be here. We will all get it very soon. I'm going to enjoy watching other people playing it. My brother asked me a little while ago, he just woke up and he's like, so you're in the streamer weekend? He's like, did you apply? I'm like, no, man, I'm 4,000 subs short. We need 5,000, I just hit 1. He's like, oh, I didn't know. He's like, is that the only requirement? I said, yeah, more or less, yes. You have to be a content creator that does some 7 days content, but other than that. Oh, yeah, no doubt. I was super stoked. I was not at all surprised that they announced it at like 9 o'clock at night on Monday. I don't remember when it was, but I know it was like late. Because I always check multiple times a day to see if they release it, and I know that they have a habit of releasing information late at night. So, yeah. And I checked it like right when I got up that night. I woke up at like 6 or 7 p.m. that night, afternoon, evening, whatever. And I checked and it wasn't posted. And then I checked at like 10 o'clock or something and it was. And as soon as I saw that it was, I posted in my Discord and on my channel so that everybody would know that do follow my Discord. And I know there's not many of you in there, and that's cool. I'm not exactly a big YouTuber. I ain't got no 80 or 100,000 subs. Plus, I'm a very boring person, so I don't really talk much in it. After reading the patch notes, Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It didn't either, because they have a habit of releasing stuff late at night. It's not like it's the first time they've done it. They've been doing that since like Alpha 15 when I started following them on the forums. So yeah, I wasn't surprised either. But once the Horde Night's over, I want to talk about the patch notes, some of the interesting things that I saw. Some things that I did not expect. One or two changes that I think are really odd. And I don't think they're a good change, but I don't think it's really going to affect that many people. Hey, Bill. So this stream isn't going to be real long because, like I said, Alpha 20, awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I have no complaints about it. It had its issues, but you know what? I honestly think it was the best Alpha we've had. It's one of the times that I do agree with the Fun Pimps that each Alpha, honestly, in my opinion, has been better than the last. And I'm hoping Alpha 20 will continue that. Although, I guess to be fair, Alpha 17 probably was not as good as 16, but Alpha 18 remedied that quick, fast, and in a hurry, so. And to be fair, they learned a lot from the Alpha 17 fiasco, and they admit, they're like, yeah, we fucked up. So, yeah. Whoa. Ow! Hit me, will you? Eat that, and eat this. Oh, don't you dare spit at me, you fat bastard. Where's my water? Wait, where's my water? Oh, that's not good. I might have left my water inside. 18 was your favorite? Yeah, 18 was. It was really good. I totally did. I put them away. Ain't that something? I don't know. To me, they've all had their ups and downs, but I can't say that I hate. Oh, facts. Hell yes. I can't say I've really been all that disappointed with any of them, except for like 17. But like I said, 17 just they literally ripped out like 3/4 of the game's systems and redid everything from scratch. And they fired a guy that was working on the perk system for like most of the dev time for 17, and yeah, it just Alpha 17 was an absolute cluster. And they realized it. They owned up to it. They said, you know what, we effed up, we're sorry. And honestly, 17 is when, because of the failures of 17, did you die? That's when they really doubled down on started to double down on it's done when it's done, or it's ready when it's ready. And that's why 18, 19, and 20 were, relatively speaking, very polished at experimental or stable release compared to previous alphas. I got news for you. Anybody that complains about it, go look at AAA development, where they have, they spend $100 million on a game. I guarantee you they have just as many problems as the Fun Pimps. For a little, I guess they're not that little anymore, but for a company that has only made one game, and that's this one, I'd say they're doing pretty damn impressive, all things considered. They could do better, absolutely. But I got news for you, they could do a hell of a lot worse, too. Ooh, that's, oh, a freeze. Oh, I didn't mean to do that, but alright. Yeah, like I said, there's some things I'd like to discuss about the 21 patch notes. There you go. Fuck it. And we will do that after the Horde is over. Would you beat it? Working on my nerves. Yeah. Suck it. Although it's already dying down, it might already be over. Or maybe not over, but like close. Ow! I'm on fire! I'm on fire! Actually, I do want to see where's the max. 39. So, even though we have it set to 64 max alive, we're only getting 39 at most. But we're killing them so fast they don't spawn instantly, so it seems like way less than it is. Well, Cyberpunk is just like one of the most recent high-profile disasters. And I think part of the reason, a big part of the reason for that is because of the publisher saying, we don't care, we want it out, we want our profit. And to be fair, they made a hell of a profit. They definitely lost money with all the returns and stuff, but yeah, I guarantee, they said that even with all the returns, they made just bucket loads of money. So, that's actually one of the reasons why the Fun Pimp said that they self-publish on PC, because they don't have to worry about a publisher pressuring them to release. They can release when they want to release. Joel has talked about that a long time ago. He's like, yeah, that's one of the big reasons why we wanted to do PC only. And what do you know? The reason they had problems with the console version was because they couldn't self-publish, because they aren't a console developer. It sucks that they had to learn the way they did, but it looks like they did learn, at least I hope. And they're taking I think with the original console version, they pretty much did a hands-off approach. I mean, they basically said as much. They said that when it came to the console version, they found people that they thought were reliable, they gave them the go, and then basically the only time they were really involved was if they had questions about, you know, content or something. What they could and could add, change, whatever. Hey, get off of there. And it seems like, from what Rick said, with the new console version, they are very much working hand in hand with them to ensure that there's no issues like there was with the first version. And I would hope that they put in their clause that if anything happens with the company, they have to let them know and give them the rights back and all that stuff, because I can't imagine how much it costs them to buy the rights back to their own goddamn game at auction. I mean, you have to buy the rights to your own game at auction. What kind of bullcrap is that? It probably cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then people bitch and moan about them making a totally new version from scratch and then charging money for it. Oh my god, the humanity. They're a company that wants to make money after losing a bunch of money. Most companies would say, screw it. They just cut their losses and walk away. Sorry, console people, you don't get jack. We gave you a version, we lost our ass on it. I mean, they didn't. I'm sure they made way more overall from the sales, but that's not the point. Considering the headache and the death threats and everything from jerk-offs, bitching at them for stuff that literally was beyond their control, they had no control over, because, you know, every company and dev loves when their consumers just scream at them and threaten to murder them. You know, that's totally normal. And understandable. Here's some of these people talk, man. Anyway, so, did I do... No, I didn't. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we are going to talk about A21 and some interesting things that I have seen in the patch notes. Oh, the Kim I just noticed Kim Station. Yeah, I tried putting it here, and I would have had to put it right next to the door, and I just didn't want to do that. And like I said, I'm probably only going to play this world tonight, and then I'll never play it again. Since obviously, once the streamer weekend starts tomorrow, I'll be watching various people play, so not likely I'll be playing much starting tomorrow. Maybe a little, but probably not much, if at all. So you go there, and then you go here. I don't know why I keep forgetting to put the elixir away, and you. Gonna drink again. So here in a second, I'm basically gonna open up my little tablet and I'm gonna go through some of the most of the patch notes. Hey, Bill! Upcoming, thank you! Hey, sweet, somebody finally used the super chat thingy. Alright. Yes, you're not the only one. Now, one thing to let you guys know that those that don't know me or are new since... Hey, thanks for the sub. Oh, is that... Wait, that's a sub, isn't it? Oh, no, that must be, Okay, so apparently the super chat gives the same sound as... I guess I'll have to go in and change that. I'll drink a second one of those, or a third. Yeah, whatever. Anyway... Anybody that's new to the channel or not familiar, I am a 99% primarily a vanilla player. I like vanilla. I prefer vanilla. I'll probably watch Jewel as much as I can. Yeah, I like Jewel. I get why some people don't care for him because he is a little loud. That doesn't bother me. That's never bothered me. That and he does swear quite a bit. But I mean, in real life, I have gotten a lot better. But my father was in the Navy during Vietnam. He was drafted, and so I joke often that I'm the son of a sailor, and I swear like one. My father did, so I don't think that's where he got his habit, but yeah, he did. So anyway, let's see. Wow, I got the crap kicked out of me. Let's go. I want to put one into run and gun. One into iron. Wow, I got 5. Oh, I turned it up to 300% XP since I wanted to get as much of this done as I could before. I've got everything I want in there. I'm gonna go 2, and then... do another in that. Yeah, we'll do another farmer. Alright, so I'm gonna go and start working on the new horde base. No, not that one. Like I said, I'll probably never actually play it to the next horde, but you know what? I don't care. I want to have fun, and that's what I am gonna do. Yep, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. my time. Yeah, he announced that. Apparently that's early in the morning for him, because obviously he's in Australia. Let's see. Don't need you. I do want to get some blade traps going. Oh, I got those, but yeah. Okay, blade traps. Deal. Blade traps. How many can I make? 5. What am I short on? Oil. It's always oil. Oil. How much oil can I make? 28. Oh, I can make way more than that, I assure you. Pearl. 111 done. 54 minutes? Well, that's perfect. Alright. So we'll take some iron. I don't think I'm going to need it, but just in case. Take what few of those I can take. Take those. I don't really care about those. That's fine. I need... take the Jeep and the gyro. And do I have gas? Oh, almost left without my gas. Got food, right? Got 2 of those. Take 2 hobo stews. That should be fine. Alright. Yeah. It's only Friday morning? Because that's Friday evening here, so he's behind us? I would have thought he's ahead of us. Like I said, I genuinely don't know. New home, new home. I think... oh, come on with this stupid thing. I didn't see a bug fix for this camera issue with the gyro. Would have been nice. Alright, so let me turn on the tablet here. So... looking at the patch notes, and of course this is spoilers, so anybody that doesn't want to be spoiled. Yeah, it's Thursday here, but tomorrow when he starts streaming it tomorrow will be 6 p.m. our time. So if it's Friday morning there, I would have thought it's Thursday, or I would have thought it'd be Saturday morning for him. Because he's on the other side of the world. Quite literally. Let's see. Environmental art. They're adding a bunch of stuff. Graphic designs. New doors. Yeah, we know about the doors deteriorating. Now, this is something I wondered, and it does mention it in the patch notes. It says about the new doors and how you can melee or shoot through them as they take damage. It says to be cautious, as certain doors may develop holes large enough to pass through without being completely destroyed. Yeah, he said it was... I'm pretty sure he said it was in the morning, so I would assume that was Saturday for him. Loot container changes. This is awesome. I like this. This is actually something most mods have added. When you loot small containers such as trash bags, backpacks, and bird nests, they will now automatically be destroyed. So that's actually cool. I like that because I always destroy the bird nests anyway. So that's pretty sweet. And then larger containers like clothing racks, desks, filing cabinets, and gun safes will actually change to an open state, so they'll physically look open. So that's awesome. And then I assume when they respawn the loot. Yeah, Saturday morning from... Okay, that's what I thought. Like I said, I wasn't sure, but that's what I assumed. Okay, the water improvements. So, there were some questions that I was having about the new water. And it says that we've made visual improvements to prevent water from clipping through semi-solid block shapes, such as thin or rounded wall segments. Now, that is actually really awesome because I myself have tried to make, like, the infinite water source, which I'm curious if that's still going to be a thing. I mean, it's not really infinite now. Every time you pour a bucket out, it creates 2 water source blocks, basically. I'm going to guess that won't be a thing anymore. But anyway, if you tried to contain water in anything less than a full solid square block, like if you used a stair block or something, the water would just go right through the block. So apparently they fixed that, so that is awesome. They also... They overhauled the water simulation under the hood to improve performance, reduce network traffic, which is for multiplayer, I assume, and provide more consistent and natural flow behavior, particularly with respect to large bodies of water such as lakes and rivers. So that is something that I do want to mention. There's a bunch of mentions of optimizations for multiplayer. I've been considering if the multiplayer is... Oh, that's way faster than I intended to go down. Ooh, boy. If the multiplayer is improved as much as the patch notes suggest, I've been considering maybe doing a multiplayer server at some point in the relative near future. The only thing is how to obviously pay for it, as well as... Drink another one of these, chuck it on the ground. The first problem is how to pay for it, and then the second problem is then I have to moderate it and everything. I'm the kind of person that if I was going to do that, I don't want to trust it to someone else. Not because I don't trust them, but because I want to have control if something's wrong. I don't want to have to worry about, oh, well, so-and-so's asleep, or they're at work, or they're... I don't want to deal with that. So if I decide to do it, I'm going to do it myself, and... Part of the reason I'm hesitant is because I know it's a lot of work, and partially I'm lazy, but I also am not very knowledgeable about that stuff, and there's things I'd have to learn, and I don't know if I really want to do it. I mean, I do, but I don't, but I don't, but I do. But that's something I have been considering since I read the patch notes on Monday. They said there's been a lot of networking changes, so that hopefully, like, the lag and stuff won't be as bad, and... What do you want, Tom? Go away. Oh, we got ourselves a bear, do we? Alright. Really? Ah, this is a change. One of the changes in Alpha 21, wandering hordes will no longer spawn right before or right after a 7-day horde. So this crap here, which again, I don't mind it, but this will no longer be a thing. They also are increasing the probability, it says, of certain zombies and wandering hordes. They'll have an increased you son of a, get off my truck. They'll have an increased chance for dropping loot. And they said the reason for that is they want people to engage the wandering hordes and not just avoid them. So I'm a fan of that. I can definitely... By the way, I do have a wandering horde mod, increase mod, so this is obviously not a vanilla size horde. Man, shot her so hard her neck broke. Alright, works for me. Stop your zigzagging. Oh, see that there? When you use a power attack and then a regular attack and the bar doesn't decrease? They fixed that. Thank God. Yeah, I hear you on that, Bill. I'm the same way. Oh! The only person that I hung out with in the last 15 years is Moon Knight, and he doesn't sadly have a computer, so... When I used to play... Even when I used to play PlayStation, he played a lot of really cool games, but not really well, first of all, I couldn't afford them. And second of all, like you guys, I'm not big on multiplayer. The only reason I was thinking about doing them, or the only reason I'm thinking about doing the multiplayer is just because I've had a couple of people ask, like Defense, and a few others that have wanted to play. It wouldn't be... I would only do it because I know there's some people that do want to play with... that want to play with me and stuff. I understand the appeal, because I've thought about that myself. It's like, I'd love to be able to play with some of the YouTubers that I enjoy watching. I think most people feel that way. So Ravenhurst. I actually played Ravenhurst recently. Yeah. No. Just no. Darkness Falls, well, Kane did, and this made me chuckle, Kane actually applied for the streamer weekend. And I'm assuming he did because he wants access to it so he can start work on Darkness Falls. Because I just cannot imagine. He seems to have a rather strong dislike for vanilla. So I have a feeling that you aren't going to be seeing Kane streaming or anything this weekend. Or if he does, it'll be like the absolute minimum required to be a early access streamer, maybe, I guess. But, yeah, I imagine the mods are probably going to take a while to come out, just because of the perk and the loot system overhauls. I don't know why I'm destroying that, because I'm probably just going to replace it. But yeah, I imagine the mods are probably going to take quite some time to adapt. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I figure that's smart. If you want to get in on it, that's the way to do it. So, no, we don't want that. We want this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Okay, so that is the center. Oop. Actually didn't mean to do that, but that's fine. Let me get this set up, and then we'll get back to the patch notes. So, of course, stupid tablet turned off. Alright. The hazard thing where now there's going to be fire. There's going to be like pipes that have exploded where the fire's spitting out. One thing that they showed is for those that think you can just simply run through the fire without hitting the button, as soon as you touch the fire hazard, it immediately slows you down to a crawl, and the fire damage is rapid. It does massive. It'll kill you before you get through it. It slows you down and does insane damage. So they thought about people like, oh, I'll just run through it. I'm not going to turn. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. Because that's the first thing I thought. I was like, why am I going to bother? I'll just run or jump over it. Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. So that's kind of cool. And I'm guessing the fire damage thing is the first. They'll probably have like maybe a steam or like a toxic waste one or something in the future. That'd be kind of cool. Now, the new gore system they added in Alpha 20. It just says more zombies now utilize the new gore system. I use a controller. You can see it in the top left corner, and the fact that my cursor is a little circle. If you use a mouse and keyboard on PC, you can see now it's a little, I don't know, like, I guess it's like an arrowhead or something. But when you use a controller, it turns into that, and then in the top left you can see it changed. Also, where is it? No. Yeah, there you go. I don't know why it says Xbox, because I use a PS5 controller. I used to use a PS4. But even when I used a PS4, it never, even if you say, apply it, it just does not, it will not save it, and it still shows the Xbox controls. So, okay, so there's that. The overhauled locations. Now, this is interesting stuff. All trader locations have been completely redone, so that's awesome. They've added 692 new shapes. Let's see. Every single point of interest, or POI, has been improved with the new art props and the 700 new shapes. There are over 75 pure new questable POIs. I assume what it means by pure new it means 75 totally new that never existed in the game before. Most of the POIs, it says nearly 400, have now been now support the new infestation quest type. That's the new the infestation is the new type of quest where more or less they said initially, but I'm sure it's changed, that it basically doubled the amount of enemies in the POI from whatever the tier it is. And it basically makes the tier, whatever it is, one tier higher, which is why some people thought they're adding a tier 6 POI. They're not. It just makes a tier 5 what a tier 6 would be. So, okay, that's kind of cool. They're adding new parts and random world gen features. Now, the parts, that's a system they added in Alpha 20 with the new tile system. Basically, what they did is inside POIs that are open or just in random spots on the map, they have these little things these little like decorative things that you can put up or that you can place or the game can place. They just added a bunch of new stuff, including roadside POI spawns. Navezgane got a bunch of updates, but let's be honest, until the story comes out, nobody cares about Navezgane. More than 200 POIs have been added or completely overhauled, and every single POI in the game has been updated with the new art and shapes. Now, it lists some of the notable POIs, but not all of them. The Tier 5 POIs, it lists the Apartments 02, which is actually named Vanity Tower, which is new. Factory 01, the Shamway Factory, and it says in quotes Shamway Factory, meaning that's the new name for it, because all POIs in Alpha 21 finally have a name. It's not Random Business 03. Thank you, God. So, Vanity Tower, which is a new apartment building, and it's a Tier 5, is new. The Shamway Factory has been overhauled. The House Modern 23 is now called Dr. Karen Higashi Residence. It's been overhauled to a Tier 5. The hospital has been overhauled. Red Mesa installation has been overhauled. A Nursing Home 01, which is now called the Last Sunset Nursing Home, is brand new, totally new. 2 new prisons that are totally new, called Navezgane Corrections and Navezgane County Jail. Let's see, Tier 4 POIs, they added a new bowling alley called Pine Balls Bowling. The Downtown Strip 4 is now called Joe's Junction, and it's been overhauled to Tier 4. House Modern 24, Jeffalon Zucker Gates Estate, that's the name, it's totally new. A new junkyard called Eco Trash Recycling Center, and again it says new. 4 roadside checkpoints. They're all new, and they're called NDC Checkpoint 1, Checkpoint 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there's 5 total. Utility electrical company is totally new, and it's called Hybrid Energy. Then it goes through a crap load of tier 3, 2, and 1s, but we'll skip those because it literally would take an hour to go through. Okay, the POI and biome difficulty improvements. Now, we mentioned that we've talked about this before since the dev streams. It says when you enter a POI, a HUD display will pop up displaying its name and difficulty tier, which is represented by a number of red skulls. These POI names will also appear on the quest text at the trader. When you enter a biome, you will see a biome difficulty represented by the number of orange skulls. It sounds like from this that it's going to pop up probably once whenever you, or each time you enter a biome, the biome difficulty will probably only pop up once. But it sounds like the POI one's going to pop up every time you enter a POI. I can't see that lasting if that is the case, because I actually think that's a cool feature, but even I admit I would probably get annoyed when you're running through the city and stuff and you're bouncing between POIs constantly, that thing constantly popping up probably would drive me crazy eventually. The overall difficulty is represented by the skulls. The same POI in the Wasteland will be more difficult to have a higher game stage enemies and loot than the same POI in the Forest biome, which we already know. They fixed a bug that was apparently in multiplayer game staging. So apparently now, when you're in multiplayer, you'll have a more balanced game stage to provide a better scaled challenge. POI localization. Localization just means naming. Or, whatever you want to call it, translation, whatever. Points of interest have undergone localization, receiving easily understandable and relatable names. These new names are not only incorporated into the quest system, but are also displayed on the upper right corner of the screen above the quest and recipe tracker. Well, see, I don't know if you can close that, Avenger. That's the thing. I think when it pops up, it's probably like it just sits there for a couple of seconds and then goes away. I have a feeling that either that's not what it's going to be, or if it is, hopefully they have the option to turn that off. Or maybe they have like an option to make it so it only pops up for a second or not at all. I just cannot imagine that if it is that, it's going to stay that way. People, think about how much people cried about the HP bar and a couple of other minor things. And they either removed it or changed it. So I just can't imagine that lasting. People are going to lose their minds. And again, I don't think the biome POI one, every time you enter a biome popping up once, I think that's fine. Most people probably wouldn't have an issue with that. But if it pops up every time you enter a different POI, yeah, that's probably going to get real, especially when you're driving through the city and stuff and on a vehicle. Ooh, that's gonna trigger some people. Let's see. Furthermore, if you back the Kickstarter campaign and pledged for location naming, you will now have the privilege of having a POI named after you. So that's awesome. The infestation quests. Now here's something interesting about the infestation quests. I'm not going to read the whole thing, obviously, because if I read all the patch notes, we'd be here forever. Basically, the infestation quests start at tier 2. It takes a supported POI and adds a +1 to its tier. So, during the first dev stream, they said basically it doubles the zombies, but it doesn't look like that's the case. It just adds probably the number of zombies of the tier above it. And it's probably like an average. Like if an average tier 3 adds like anywhere between, we'll say 50 and 70, it'll probably add some random number between that for that infestation. So that's kind of cool. But it does mention here that this left tier, each one of these makes the tier basically go up by 1. It says this left tier 5 POIs with infestation in a bit of a pickle. Tier 5 POIs as an infestation quest can now be found as tier 6 difficulty POIs. Some people thought that meant that they were going to add tier 6 POIs. That is not the case. Random world generation update. They've learned something. Better than anyone on the planet. The latest release focuses on improving random world generation speed, visuals, POI placement, and adding new features to enhance the player's experience and addressing several bugs. It says generation speeds up to 4 to 5 times faster than before. Sorry, I call BS on that, and here's why. I've made a couple of 8K maps in the last 2 weeks, and they took about 4.5 minutes to generate on my computer. Now, obviously, it's dependent on your computer, your settings, or your processor and all that. They said that a while back, like way earlier in development, they said that their goal for Random World Gen was roughly 1 minute per 1K. But that was, like I said, that was a very long time ago. So that means, again, I'm sure this isn't the actual case, but based on what they said a long time ago, that means an 8K map would take 8 minutes, and it only takes 4.5 on my computer. I don't think it's going to be 4 to 5 times faster. That'd be like a minute. There's no way in hell it's going to make it. It's going to generate in a minute. That's probably true if you have like a really old computer, or maybe just one that's a bit old. That's probably the case. But if you have a relatively modern system, I mean, mine is like a year and a half old, the processor and board. And then I've got a 3080, RTX 3080, so that's not old. It's about a year and a half. So, yeah. Let's see. New merging highways between gateway tiles and township rural tiles have been added. So that fixes some of the syncing issues with in between different tiles and random gen. A new scoring system for prefab pick ordering, XML entries to help control overall placement, spawn weights, and min-max counts ensure POIs don't repeat too often. Country tiles have been added. The tiles are what they call the individual, like, it's like a plot of like X number of chunks, and then in each one of the tiles is a number of slots for different POI sizes. They've added more tiles. I think they said they had like 15 or 20 tiles in Alpha 20, and they said they were going to add more, but they didn't want to add more in the incremental updates for 20 because then people would feel like they would have to restart their world in order to take advantage of the new tiles. So apparently they held back. So there's new tiles. A new street tile system that uses an overworld grid to allow for more concise placement of wilderness, towns, and highways. A new game button has been added to the advanced generation screen to allow players to immediately play the map they have generated without having to remember the map name. Now that's actually happened to me. If you go into advanced generation and you generate a map, when it's done, it does display the name of the world or whatever you want to call it, but sometimes you're in a hurry and you don't think about it and you back up, and if you have multiple worlds created and you're scrolling through to make it, you're like, oh crap, I don't know the name. So that's cool that you can just create a thing. You can just start the world as soon as you create it without having to worry about forgetting. Now this is something, I get why they're doing it, but this is probably a multiplayer one more than a single player. The chunk reset system. Basically, first of all, it's turned off by default, so you don't have to worry about it resetting chunks. But basically, you can set an amount of time that if no one has entered a certain chunk or an area of chunks, I guess, after X number of days, and you can choose the number, it'll reset everything in that chunk. Like whether you've dug out the terrain, you've looted everything, you've blown up buildings, you've built something, whatever, it'll reset it to default. The exceptions are, if anybody enters the chunk, it resets the timer. It will not reset if there's a land claim block or a bedroll in it, so you don't have to worry about losing stuff like that. However, if you've put stuff in existing chests and stuff, like in the world, like for example, you loot the loot room and you use that to store your stuff, and you don't have a land claim and you don't have a bedroll and you leave the area and you don't come back in the amount of time, you will lose the stuff in there. So, something to keep in mind. Now, survival rebalance. This is one of those things that seems very nonsensical because it just doesn't really make sense to me. To enhance the survival experience, water collection has been rebalanced by removing empty jars and cans. I thought they only removed the jars. If they remove the cans, that means you can't make oil now either. I'm assuming you can, it's a different recipe. Boiled water now requires a cooking pot. Whatever, I don't really care. Most, quote, clean water and drinks have been extremely lowered in loot. Which, that doesn't mean you can't find clean water, it just means more than likely you're going to only find murky water. Let's see. Crafted in the player backpack, meaning you don't need a workbench. You have to visit a trader to obtain a key component for a new dew collector workstation. And the key component is called a water filter. Once you craft it, the water is slowly accumulated over time at a rate of approximately 3 jars every 24 in-game hours. Something to keep in mind. I know people are freaking out. We won't know until we try it. However, one difference that I noticed, in Alpha 20 and before, clean water gives you 20 hydration. In the dev previews, the water gave 40 hydration. So you're getting double the amount of hydration from plain water. I assume that means if you craft it into red tea, etc., it'll be even higher. So don't freak out about only getting 3 waters per day, because as far as I know, they're not changing the degradation rate of water or food. So 3 jars is probably going to last you, well, twice as long as it would in Alpha 20. So again, I'm not saying you can't dislike it, because like you guys, I'm nervous, but I'm willing to give it a try, because it doesn't seem to be as bad as we thought. You can place multiple dew collectors, so that's good. However, they must have a clear view of the sky. In other words, it's the same as crops. It does mention that bars and other, quote, see-through shapes are acceptable to place above. So you can do just like you can with crops. You can probably put glass or, like you said, bars. Drink vending machines have had quantities increased, not decreased, increased, including specialized drinks. Exactly, Avenger. I'm curious. Again, we're only like 4 days away. We'll know on Monday. And like I said, there's a couple of things that I'll get to that I'm not keen on, but I don't think they're going to be that big of a deal. Due to water used in crafting, glue has been increased in loot, quest rewards, and trader inventories. Now, I think that's fine, but I can see that being a problem. Personally, because I use so much duct tape and glue like water, no pun intended, I collect every bone, and I never throw bones out. If I loot one bone from a cabinet, I'm keeping that freaking bone. Most of the people that I watch, they throw extra bones out all the time. And so, if they're going to add glue to loot, maybe some people will keep it, but I have a feeling people are going to just throw it out. So, we'll see. Now, the quest rewards, to me, that seems like, it's a good idea, but I don't think it's going to help. Let's be honest. What are they going to give you, 10 glue? Are you really going to pass up a shotgun for 10 glue? Are you going to pass up 10 Molotovs, 10 pipe bombs for 10 glue? We don't know. It might be 50 glue. We don't know. But I can't imagine it'll be more than like 5 or 10 glue. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not... The quest rewards, unless you can suddenly pick 2, or like it just gives you it like as an automatic reward and then you still get to choose it. The quest reward seems kind of pointless to me. Trader inventories, though, yes, that's good. Increased in loot, so again, we don't know, so just slow your roll. Well, it's one of those things. They claim they've been testing this for over a year now, because they didn't start off with 21 development right after 20 release, because most of the team was still working on bug fixes through like 20.4 or 6 or whatever it was. Now, here's the real meat and potatoes, so to speak, of the 21 changes. The crafting skill system. Okay, so crafting unlocks have been moved out of the perk system and into a new crafting skill. Pipe weapon, well, will be easier to craft at the beginning from what I'm looking at. Yes, there you go. That's a think positively. Think positively, yes. Okay, so there's perks will no longer give any recipes at all. And there's 2 things that I was wondering about in regard to the crafting system changes. One, since they're removing the crafting, the schematic recipes from the perks, were they also going to remove the crafting recipes from the books? Yes, they're removing the crafting, like for example, the time charges, you learn that from reading one of the books, that's been removed, and now you learn it the same way you do everything else through the new crafting book system. What they did was, they removed the crafting perks, like for example, the M60 was one of the sniper books, I guess it was, I don't remember, whatever it was. They removed it and replaced it with a new perk for that book. So, for example, the spear, one of the spear ones was it increased the damage from throwing it or something. Now it just does like double damage when you do a power attack. So basically it's the same thing, they just changed it. Now, apparently, the magazines for the new crafting system can be found in loot containers, zombie loot bags, airdrops, quest rewards, or sold by the traders. So, in other words, pretty much anywhere you can loot. Now, this crafting skill system change solves 2 issues. And it's like everything else. Some people think that it was fine the way it was. Other people have been griping about it being the way this is the problem. Previously, you could max out a perk's quality unlock with primitive tools and weapons, and then instantly craft higher tiers of tools. An example would be you can make a crafted stone axe of 5, but then when you unlock iron and steel, you could immediately craft them at the same level. I agree. That sucks. Hey, there's Moon Knight. Welcome, Moon Knight. They released the date for Spider-Man 2? Oh, cool, sweet. So, there's only one problem with this change. Here's my problem. When it comes to things, since everything has 3 tiers, like armor, weapons, whenever you would find a new, the second tier of a weapon, item, tool, whatever it is, if you already have a quality 6, because of the mod system, October 20th, alright, well, that's actually not that far away. A lot of times you would find like a tier 2 or 3, or a quality 2 or 3 of the tier 2 item. Like, for example, you'd have a quality, I always say tier, and I mean say quality. You have a quality 6 purple iron, or what do you call it? Scrap iron chest. You're fine. But then you find like a quality 2 or 3 iron chest. It's better defensively, but since it only has like 1 or 2 mod slots as opposed to the 4 of the lower level, most people, myself included, usually won't drop the lower tier item, even though it's a lower tier and has slightly less defense, because those mod slots make a big difference. This system is not going to fix that problem. So I'm wondering if what I think they should do is, it should be based on the quality or the tier of the tool. Like, if you get a tier 6 stone axe, we'll say all tier 1 items should automatically have 2 mod slots, whether it's a quality 1 or a quality 6. Then all tier 2 items, regardless of quality 1 or quality 6, should have 3 mod slots. Then all tier 3 should have 4 mod slots. Because otherwise, you're having the same problem you have now. A lot of people, and myself included, skip straight from the cheapest, like either, I don't think anybody wears leather. Usually it's you go straight from cloth or scrap iron straight to steel or military, because why bother with the middle tier when it's going to have slightly better defense, but you're going to lose the mod slots. I just can't see that working. So, okay, players are no longer required to perk into various classes to obtain unlocks. All crafting skills can be unlocked by all players. I like that. That's a good thing. Unlocks are removed from perks, however. Each level of a perk will give a probability boost to certain magazines. For example, the perk Boomstick will give a boost to finding more shotgun magazines. Boomstick will also boost shotguns, the possibility of finding a whole shotgun parts, and the various types of ammo or shotgun ammo in the loot. Crabs, I think the water purifier is already in the game. It's a mod. I'm guessing that the water purifier, either you need the mod water purifier or they added a new water purifier. There's got to be some weird reason for it. I haven't seen them explain the removal, because I understand them wanting to do the dew collector, and I think it's a cool feature, but I have to admit, all they had to do is dramatically lower the drop rate for jars. There has to be a reason, and it's got to be one of those ones where if they told us, it would make sense, maybe, but they're not telling us. So anyway, the new crafting things, this actually, to me, is a good thing, because this will give a reason for buying things like Pummel Pete. Personally, I never put points into the melee skills. I do for the gun skills, but not the weapons, the melee, because most of them, they're nice, but they don't do enough damage unless maybe you play on like insane difficulty to be worth it. But now, not only will perking into those slightly increase the probability of finding books that will help you level up that skill faster, like better shotguns, etc. But for the melee perks, they've gotten rid of Sexy T-Rex, and now each one of the melee perks in each tree gives you hey Andra, welcome. Each one of the melee perks will now give you a Sexy T-Rex, the stamina reduction effect, specifically for that weapon or tool. Which that's the next thing. With crafting unlocks moving to the new crafting system, perks have been overhauled to be more streamlined for each class. Sexy T-Rex has been moved to each weapon perk. Players no longer have to perk into strength to get the stamina benefits. Wants better stamina with clubs? Put perk points into Pummel Pete and keep from getting winded too soon. That, to me, is great. I never minded that much about that, because I always perk into strength, but I agree. If you wanted to do challenge playthroughs, or if you just didn't like the strength tree, it sucked that you had to put at least like 3 to 5 points to get at least 2 to 3 of the pummel or of the sexy T-Rex. So I'm drunk. So yeah, I think that is a super awesome change. Now here's another interesting thing: the flurry of blows. That's the one where each one of the flurry of blows makes you swing faster with any of the melee weapons, and I think even maybe the tools. I think it was only the weapons. Instead of flurry of blows, it's now been added to each one of the individual trees, so that you don't have to perk into. You can perk into, or if you perk into the tree for your weapon, you can just buy the flurry of blows for that weapon in the tree you're already putting points into. It says here for perception, they added it's not called flurry of blows. It's now called, in perception, it's called quick and perceptive, increases the attack speed of spears. In strength, it's called big and fast, increases the attack speed of clubs and sledges, so on and so forth. Physician perk has gained the ability, now you're going to love this one, I'm a huge fan. Since Alpha 17, I believe, you are no longer able to splint a sprained arm or leg. I don't think sprained arms existed until Alpha 18, but if you have a sprain, it only lasts like 6 minutes, but you can't fix it with a splint. But in order to use a splint, you have to use it on a broken arm or leg, and it takes it from like 2 hours by default, with no perks, down to like 30 minutes. Well, they now added a new part to Physician. Not only will you can treat sprains, which you couldn't before, it gives more XP when using healing items, nobody cares. Dismemberment gets a boost with batons on level 4, while level 5 has a chance to instantly kill a target with a stun baton. Yum yum and then some. Now, here's one that we'll get to later. Master Chef allows players to cook faster with each level. Here's the problem, and it doesn't mention it here, it mentions it further down in the list. Cooking now takes an extremely long time. By default, the later down in the list it'll mention it. It takes 6 minutes and 15 seconds to cook one meat stew without perks. If you fully perk into Master Chef, it takes like 15 seconds or 45 seconds or something. 6 minutes for a freaking meat stew? Oh god, that's going to be awful. Again, don't know. We'll give it a chance. We'll see if it's as bad as it seems. Lockpicking has been moved from strength to intellect. I guess that makes sense. Grease Monkey grants the ability to use fewer repair kits when repairing vehicles. Zombies and animals are now nearly killed instantly when hit by a vehicle. However, the vehicle takes more damage than previous versions. Vehicles also take more damage when hitting objects or taking a hard landing. No more driving off a cliff. Now, here's the interesting stuff. I mentioned earlier about the books from Alpha 18 that they added. I was worried they might remove them with the new perk changes or the crafting skill changes. They did not. They simply changed some of them, including the ones that used to unlock something. For example, the Spear Hunter Volume 3 no longer unlocks the Steel Spear. Instead, it adds bleeding damage. Spears now have a 25% chance to cause bleeding damage. I'm a fan. Spear Hunter Volume 4 has been changed to Kill Move. Power attacks do 50% more damage to down targets. Volume 6 has been changed to Power attacks now penetrate and damage multiple enemies. That's awesome. So the spear now, you can stab multiple enemies straight through and do damage behind them. Yes, they do talk about optimization, absolutely. Including multiplayer, which I mentioned earlier in the stream. I'm considering doing a multiplayer server, maybe in Alpha 21. Primal Kill, kills with spears, refill your stamina. Automatic weapons, that's the one that used to be unlock the M60. It's now changed to hip fire. Aiming from the hip with greater accuracy can save your ass in close quarters situations. Cool. Batter Up Volume 2 used to unlock... It says change from gear to stealing bases. Sprinting with a club in combat now uses 20% less stamina. I like that change. Let's see. The Bat Unlock book now is power attacks with clubs have a 20% chance to ragdoll enemies. Not knock them down. Ragdoll. I'm a fan. Here's one that I really like. The Time Charge book was called The Great Heist Volume 3. It's now changed to unlock to gold. I'm sorry, from time charges unlocked to Gold Rush. Find 10% more Dukes and Old Cash. Yes, please. Let's see. The Great Heist. Oh, the completion bonus for the Great Heist. It used to be it unlocked the ability to craft lockpicks. Now instead, it just it adds the ability to find 20% more lockpicks and loot. All right. Here's one that if it's no, it's Volume 7. Okay. So Art of Mining Volume 7 used to unlock lanterns and the mining helmet, and also the helmet light, I believe. Now it's been changed to mining tools do 10% more block damage. I like it. Things like the lantern and all that, those are now part of the new crafting magazine system. Perception and spear overhaul. And a little spoiler alert, I intend to go spears on the first playthrough on Monday, and this is why. It is mind-blowing. It says perception and spear overhaul. Perception is rifles, in other words, sniper rifles, hunting rifle, and spears. It is mind-blowing how powerful rifles are now, literally. Pop zombie heads with ease with a boost to headshots when using the pipe, hunting, lever action, and sniper rifles. The spear has been reworked. After much consideration, we have decided to make it work like other weapons and exchange the throw for a power attack. This makes the spear a much better sneak attack weapon, and players do not have to worry about losing their fully modded spear when thrown. With the new door damage, spears are the best melee weapons for poking through holes into pesky zombie heads. Also, and I'm sure they mention it later, they've increased the base damage of spears. So they're not garbage anymore. That's why most people didn't use them. Not just, it was the throw, but it was also because the damage was so pathetic. But they've also increased the base damage. The recipe tracker. Now, how many times have you went to make something and you look at the recipe and then you go and, oh crap, I already forgot what it includes. You can now pin the recipe to the HUD so you can see what you're crafting. And then as you collect the items, it lights up just like it does in mods and stuff. Awesome stuff. Crafting quality selection. This is a good one because how many times have you been like, okay, I've got exactly enough materials to make a tier or a quality 3 item. But then you buy the next perk, or in this case, now you would learn the next perk. Ah, crap, now I can make a quality 4, but I don't have the materials and I can't make them. I'd have to go search for them. Now it's not a problem. You can now choose you can choose to craft any quality level that you've unlocked for any item. You don't have to craft only the highest one that you can. Big thumbs up. That's one of those things that's not really likely to happen often, but when it happens, man, that's going to be nice. Loot balancing. Considerable attention has been devoted, you think, to achieving balance in various aspects of the game. This includes fine-tuning the availability of food and water, ensuring quest rewards are appropriately balanced, refining trader inventories to offer a fair selection of items, and the distribution of crafting skill magazines. They've changed the starter quest to be more streamlined. There's now a HUD-less mode. If you're one of those people, this one I couldn't wait for. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's always going to be something you don't like. That's just part of life. We have to accept it. I'm not saying you got to like it. Not saying you got to agree with it. But just give it a chance. If you hate it, ain't nobody going to fault you for hating something like the water change and stuff. But at least give it a chance. And I don't mean like 5 seconds. Oh, this sucks. I'm done. I'm quitting. Give it a chance. And if we really don't like it, again, we can mod it out. If you don't think like Kane and them are going to mod that water change and probably the entire crafting system perks magazine change out in Darkness Falls, you crazy. You crazy. He going to get rid of all that crap. Okay, spawn near backpack. Now this is another really good one. You know how when you die, you respawn at your bedroll and then, you're 3 kilometers, excuse me. I don't understand why it's an American company and most of the stuff is metric or whatever it is. It's the U.S. ridiculous things, but then we went with kilometers instead of whatever. Stupid rant. Anyway, when you die and you're like 1 kilometer, 2.5, whatever, your vehicle is where you died. Crap, now you gotta run or hope you have a spare vehicle. Not anymore. In the latest update, an exciting new feature has been introduced. Now, when they did the very first dev stream, I actually was there and I asked about permadeath mode. And they said that they're kind of hinted that they're still working on it. But when I asked that, he mentioned, Rick, one of the 2 co-founders, mentioned this feature. Basically, now when you die and you have a choice of where to spawn, you can now spawn, quote, near your backpack. Meaning you can spawn on your bedroll, near your bedroll, or just a short distance from wherever you died. So you don't have to do a long run, but you won't spawn directly where you died, so obviously you get mauled again. I like that. That is a great change. With that change, I'm not going to lie, I probably will set the drop loot on death or whatever to default. I hate bag runs. I don't find that. I've never found bag runs to be enjoyable, but you know what? With this, I may well just put it to default. Vehicle damage. This one's fun. New blood splatter when hitting entities with vehicles. Improved ragdoll hits and can cause dismemberment on hit entities. Imagine hitting a bow or a mow and watching their arms and legs fly off after you run them over with the... Oh, A1, baby, I'm doing that. Improved block collision damage calculation. Additional spark effects when you hit blocks. Vehicle collisions take more damage, but they also cause more. So repair kits are more relevant to gameplay. Now here's something I don't think I'm a big fan of. And again, I'm willing to try because we'll see. Apparently, by default, a repair kit only repairs somewhere between 10 and 50% of a vehicle's health. I think it's 10%, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but I think it only repairs 10%. Each level of the Grease Monkey perk adds 10% more that it will heal, which means you can, I guess, heal roughly 60% of a vehicle's total health with one kit at max perk. It depends on how badly they get damaged. We'll just have to see. Don't die on Horde Night with that? Oh, God. Well, I mean, if you die on Horde Night, you can still just spawn at your backpack. Be aware that when you die on Horde Night, if you spawn, for example, if your backpack, this is a feature that's been in the game since Alpha 19 or maybe 20. Maybe even longer ago. Wherever you spawn, when you die during a Horde Night, any entities around you will instantly die. So if you have I almost said backpack. If you have your bedroll at your Horde base and you die and spawn on it, it'll kill all the zombies around. Problem? The new feature that they added shortly after that was if you die and you spawn away from the Horde where it was, the Horde Night will technically end unless you go back to where the Horde was, and then you can continue. It'll restart the Horde. I can't recall the last time I died in that situation. I don't think the Horde restarted when I did that, but the entities did. They all did die. I feel like it restarted, but I don't remember. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Avenger. If they see you, it restarts the Horde, but if they don't, then you're good. And I'm trying to remember what happened, but I genuinely don't. So, okay, so that's vehicles. Wandering hordes. Here you go. Good stuff. To promote engagement and encourage players to confront wandering hordes, we have implemented an increase in the chances of loot bags dropping from these encounters. This adjustment aims to incentivize players to actively engage with wandering hordes instead of allowing them to pass by without engagement. Furthermore, an additional improvement ensures wandering hordes will no longer occur just before the commencement of your Blood Moon event, providing a more balanced and predictable gameplay experience. It doesn't mention after the Horde, but I could have sworn I saw that. Okay. Twitch extension, cool stuff, but I don't use Twitch. Here we go. Andre, you were asking about performance and optimizations. Here you go. I am going to have to get a drink because my throat is getting dry from all this yammering. Let me grab a drink, and then I will read the performance and optimizations. Because and then right after that's networking improvements, which is one of the reasons I'm considering doing a server. Old sucks. Got your fatty. Ow. Stupid chair. Alright. Got my drink. Alright, performance and optimizations. No drink for you. Yeah, I went all the way up to Troy, man, to buy a bunch of soda and that, so I'd be ready. If I had money, I'd buy a bunch of snacks for Monday, but, well, part of being poor. Okay, performance and optimizations. They did a new version update to the game engine called Unity. Now this is the big one that apparently caused issues in Alpha 20. Honestly, if they fix this, I don't know why they didn't just add this to Alpha 20.6 or 20.7. That's weird. Okay, window block optimizations. Well, you're always welcome. All windows have been converted to shapes which are more performant. Now, I don't really know what that means. I'm going to guess that if it's a shape, the shape, like for example, there's a reason why ladders and stuff are inside the shape menu. Like I can even show you. When you open up the shape menu, you can see that there's things like ladders and such, bars, but there's no windows because we've all looked. There is no windows. You can type it in, WIND, and then you can hit the double thing, which means, yeah, see? And anything that has WIND, do you see any windows? So I'm assuming that they changed it from whatever it was to be a block, and that apparently was one of the things that was causing issues. Tell me your texture. Well, we'll see. Full Windows downgrade to broken. Not really sure what that means. I mean, I thought that's how they already worked. Maybe it's because they changed it to a block, and blocks now, like, for example, if you break a steel block, it doesn't downgrade anymore to, like, concrete or wood or cobble. It just breaks. So maybe that's why they're mentioning that. Broken and empty windows upgrade to full. Only full windows can upgrade material. Now, what I'm assuming that means is you have to have a window in your inventory to even repair, like, 1 hit point of damage to a window. Kind of like how the glass blocks, bulletproof blocks, if it's taken even 1 hit point of damage, you have to use an entire block, which is very expensive in the case of bulletproof glass to repair. I'm guessing that's what that means. Now, this is one of those things where I don't understand what it means because I'm dumb. Improved prop LOD transition values by adding LOD categories so similar props crossfade at the same distances. They also cull at more relevant distances, which improves performance. Don't know what that means. Trees. This is apparently one of the big things that I've had issues with. Trees. Adjustments to meshes and settings for better performance. And I'll show you what I mean by trees. When I got my new processor, I discovered that while I can run the game at ultra settings on everything, which, as you can see, pretty much I am, it's object quality. It says the overall detail of entities and trees based on how far away they are and how far away they'll be shown. I've got it on ultra now because I'm not playing modded. When I was playing modded, this was a load on demand. Hey, Karma, welcome, and thank you. Okay, load on demand, okay. See, like this, LOD distance, I've never... all it says is overall maximum level of detail at which the world is displayed. No idea what that is. Okay, so load on demand, that makes sense. But anyway, apparently it's the trees that cause a lot of frame rate issues. So these adjustments to meshes and settings for better performance with trees, big thumbs up. Now, apparently part of the reason, like during Horde Night and such, the game has so much trouble, other than just being the fact that it's a game and it's trying to calculate so many different zombies and everything else, is the AI. Apparently the AI can now handle more zombies by throttling their activity based on distance to a player. In other words, if they're really far away, why should the game process like that zombie's pathing a whole bunch of times when it's so far away it's not really going to make any difference? But it's making calculations that draws on your system. So, AI pathing can handle many more paths per second. They now use less memory, and a variety of other small performance optimizations. So, again, we'll have to see, but that's awesome. Now, here's one of the reasons I'm seriously considering getting a server going for you guys. Networking improvements. Greatly reduced network traffic. Entities have variable update rate based on distance. There have been a number of improvements and optimizations made for a smoother multiplayer experience. Character animations and ragdolls now sync smoothly, while behind the scenes, many optimizations have been made to create a more in-sync experience, while also greatly reducing the overall network traffic while playing. This includes a new prioritization system that can increase the rate of server updates for specific entities based on their proximity to players. So, yeah, that sounds like there will be less lag and disconnects and all that good stuff. And now it talks about the web dashboard, whatever the hell that is, and positional audio with mumble, whatever that is. And then a whole bunch of other stuff, modding notes. The game was updated to Unity 2021.3.19, updated Harmony X, and it's just a whole bunch of stuff that I'm sorry, I don't know. Console commands, Zooey texture, I have changes for mods with custom code doing custom IO, which I believe is input output. Yeah, no clue. Now, here's where it's finally at the changes added, changed, and fixed. Change log including build 302. That means they've done 302 builds. And that's probably not going to be the build that comes out tomorrow. They've probably done more since then. Again, there's like 200 things, and I'm not reading them all. So, block, prop, cement. Here, cement mixer rotates when crafting. Come on, that's awesome. Biome entities will despawn when a close dead player respawns away and no living players are in the area. I'm guessing that's modded or multiplayer. All vehicles now have a... Okay, I'll just read it. Bicycle crank, meaning the pedals, will spark at high damage and lose the chain and smoke when broken. Motorcycle now has on, damaged, and broken particles, meaning various states of damage. It'll now have actual visual states you can see. Same thing for the 4x4. It has on particles, damaged particles, and broken particles. Oh, here you go. This is a good one. Players staying in the area of a Tier 1 plus POI have reduced detection by biome spawn zombies. You know, when you're about to start a quest and all of a sudden 80 friggin' zombies come out of the wilderness and start attacking. Hopefully that'll be less common with that change. Opening the shape selection window the first time starts with the basic shapes filter selected. Don't care. Players can float up higher out of water if moving into a low slope or a plate block. Lower swim speed when exhausted. Makes sense. You can now sprint in all horizontal directions in water, I'm assuming. It doesn't say in water, but I can't imagine. Oh, yeah, it says sprint. I'm sorry. It says allowed sprint swim in all horizontal directions. Excuse me. Players slide around while standing on AI entities. I'm guessing that means if you're on like a bear or a zombie, you slide around. Forge tools are now shown based on tools in slots. That's awesome. Forge flames become bigger and brighter when crafting. Awesome. Debug menu. Transparent broken glass. Remove sound capability. Yeah, whatever. Twitch creator goal. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, here we go. Shapes menu now supports favorite shapes. Oh, I know I'll be using that. Things like the ladders, bars, those will be on the favorites. Now, they've added, one of the new features for 21, they're adding a terrain tool. It basically allows you to alter the terrain. You can grow the terrain up, down, left, right. You can customize the terrain. I have a feeling that's a creative mode only. And or maybe a POI editor only or creator thing. So I'm not too... I mean, it sounds awesome, but it's one of those things where sadly I'll never use. World Entity Activity Throttling System. Performance thing, I'm assuming. AI spawn max allowed is increased for Blood Moon and Sleeper volumes. Yay! More victims. Here we go. Wandering hordes have a bonus chance to get loot bags from a few of the enemies. Now, I don't know if that means from a few of the enemies, meaning you can only get so many loot bags from a single wandering horde overall, or does it mean only some of the enemies that spawn in hordes can give loot bags? I don't know. I don't think I saw this in the patch notes, but I'm pretty sure it was mentioned by Joel or Rick in the first dev stream. I'm pretty sure they said animals can now drop loot bags, like bears, wolves, dogs. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure if they could before, but I'm pretty sure they can now. I think dogs already could, the zombie dogs, but I could be wrong. Let's see. Option for no advanced random world generation map preview. That's kind of cool. Leaderboard. Explosion kills can trigger buff effects. Auto share quests and parties. That sounds cool. Let's see. Reflection probe now. Whatever a probe is, I don't want to know. Inline water check with area on. Okay, don't care. Ability to turn on and off gateway spawns in a township. That must be a creator thing. Ah, now here you go. This is something that I was curious about. The mutated zombie, people call him Bubble Boy. They added him in Alpha 20, I believe. He only shows up in the Wasteland, and I believe on Horde Night only. Um, he's the one that spits acid. Just it's in like an AOE around him. Apparently, he's been changed. His projectile radiation pools cause brief radiation damage to player. Radiation damage? Is that a thing? And what I mean by that is, yes, I know if you go into the radiated zone at the edge of the world, you take. Is that what's going to happen now? Like, if you get hit by it, it's going to do the radiation effect on the screen? I don't know. But if that's the case, that's interesting. Support for biomes. Ragdolls. Vehicle hits can cause dismemberment. Oh! Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Karma. I do. Here's something that I like. Currently, and actually, it's always been this way. Anytime you killed something, anything, zombie, animal, with a vehicle, you never get XP for it. That's now changed. The vehicle driver is awarded some XP for killing entities. Sweet. Vehicle blood splatter when doing high damage collisions with entities. I know I'm sick. Vehicle sparks on bigger self-damage hits. That's pretty cool. Oh, here you go. Vehicles are repaired 10% by repair kits, and each level of Grease Monkey adds 10%. I'm assuming there's 10 or 5 levels of the perk, so that means it only gives 10%, which means you gotta use 10 if it's almost dead. Ooh. It's not as bad as it sounds, because I mean, personally, I never let my vehicle get that damaged. Once it gets down to like 75%, I usually use a repair kit. And if it only does 10%, I'm alright with that. Let's see. Location UI anchored at top right above Quest Tracker. The location UI I think is new for Alpha 21. New commercial door variants, both single and double doors, with window and handles on both sides. Both sides. New perks to each tree that govern how fast your attack speed is. Let's see. Game stage modifier. Game stage modifier for biomes and quests. I'm pretty sure there was only a loot stage modifier before, but I could be wrong. Zombie corpse eating blood particles. Gross. Love it. AI dodge added to bandits. Now, yes, we know bandits are not in Alpha 21, but they're apparently pretty close to done. That's why supposedly Alpha 22 is going to supposedly have a short dev cycle. I think Alpha 22 is probably just going to be all the stuff that they tried to get in 21, but was like almost done, like the new armor and the bandits. I think that's why, if 22 really is a short dev cycle, that's probably why. Party sound effects and Twitch, I don't care. Control zoom sensitivity with the mouse. Traders automatically add custom waypoints to the map. That's interesting. NPC info modified to include a localization ID field that is used to fetch the localized name of the trader to label their waypoint. Configured via npc.xml. Yeah, whatever. Zombies will eat animal corpses. That's new. I like it. That's something that many people, including myself, have joked about when we kill an animal and a zombie starts coming at us. We're like, hey, my animal. Yeah, well, if I'm assuming once they target you, they'll ignore the dead animal. But apparently, if you kill an animal and they're closer to it, they'll actually go and eat it. And apparently, if you let them continue to eat it, the animal corpse will take damage. And if you let it go long enough, it will completely destroy the corpse. That is freaking awesome. Let's see. Oh, here you go. The map and compass now support displaying your 3 previously dropped backpacks. That's happened to me. How many times have you died on the way back or before you can get your backpack? You end up dying somewhere else, and then it deletes your previous backpack icon. It's still there, but you can't see it anymore. And if you haven't marked it, you're screwed. Well, now it'll record and display the map and compass up to 3, your last 3 drop packs. That's awesome. Player swimming exhaustion when stamina is 0. Makes sense. Player swimming run increases stamina use. That sucks, but it makes sense. Out of stamina message when stamina reaches 0. I'm pretty sure that's already a thing. Gyro pitch up and down to the brake and hop control localization. No idea what that is. Player swim up boost when feet on ground. Okay. Let's see. Player crouching makes you swim down. So is that how you're going to swim down? Crouching? That seems weird. I can already guarantee or tell you that I'm going to be tinkering with the water physics a lot. Maybe on or off camera, I'm not sure. I mean, I definitely will on camera, but like probably not as much as I will off camera, because I intend to make a water base at some point. The biggest problem with making water bases, other than the water just it being hard to move and everything else, water could not exist in the same block as a block. So that's why when you would place block, you get all these weird holes and stuff in the water. And then there were actually times where the water would go back into where the block you just placed was, and it would actually destroy the block. That's a problem. Well, water can now, it's been changed so that it's a voxel and not a block, whatever that means. And so water now can exist in the same block. The idea that comes to mind is, if you are familiar with Minecraft, it's the equivalent of waterlogging a block. I think that's going to fix a lot of the issues with building in water. Let's see. Explosions set falling block velocity and spin. Interesting. Falling block starts with random angular velocity. Yeah, okay, whatever. Street tile system that uses an overworld grid to allow more concise placement of wilderness towns and highways. More threading. New game button to generate base code. And props changing. Counter in Twitch player hand. Player hands can interact with the E key with water in the world to drink murky water again. New age map. World editor improvements. Clear button added to text. Oh, clear button added to text fields. Thank you. Tiered infested loot containers to all POIs flagged with the infested quest tag. Yeah, apparently whenever you do an infested quest, the final loot room is going to have a new type of loot box, and it's apparently called a hero chest. I didn't see any mention of what that means. Obviously, the assumption would be better loot. So we shall see. Now, I could be wrong with that, so don't take that as gospel. I'm not 100%. I saw that somewhere, but there are hero chests in the game. It mentioned it at the very top of the list. But I don't think it says anywhere in here where you get them. I think I heard it in one of the dev streams, maybe. But again, I don't recall. But there are hero loot chests, which is awesome. I'm looking forward to the legendary weapons, assuming that hasn't been nixed. Joel's been talking about adding legendary weapons to the game for God knows how many years. Well, yeah, Karma. I'm guessing what they mean by better loot, since they've worked so hard on balancing and making sure you can't just skip massive chunks of progression. I'm pretty sure, unless you're close to your loot stage is close to the next tier, where, like, for example, you'd go from getting a stone tool to a iron tool. Unless you're close to that threshold, I'm guessing you wouldn't find the next tier of tool. You would just find a higher quality. Like if you have a quality 2 stone axe, a hero one might have a quality 5 or 6 stone. I don't think it's going to be something where, like, if you're at the beginning of the game and you open a hero loot chest, like early game, because I think they said the infested can only be done on a tier 2 or higher, so you can't do them at the very beginning. You have to complete the first 7 tier 1 quests to unlock tier 2. But at that point, you're probably still using stone tools, especially with the new looting system they've added. So I'm going to guess, for balance reasons, you're not going to just instantly get iron tools. Unless you're really close to the loot stage threshold where you would start finding them, then there's probably a higher chance of maybe getting like a tier 2 or a tier 3 instead of just a tier 1 iron tool. But again, we don't know. We'll know in, I guess technically, we might know in about 24 hours once the streamers get it. Like I said, I will be watching along with you guys. I wish I could have gotten the 5,000 subs, but I'm not gonna lie. I honestly never thought I'd get 1,000, and I do. I really appreciate you guys getting me to 1,000. I just cannot get over that. I'm so psyched that I got to 1,000 subs. That's so awesome. Let's see. Okay, tiered infested loot containers to all POIs flagged with the infested quest tag. I'm assuming what that means is the infested loot containers are going to be the, quote, hero loot. But again, it doesn't say that, so that's an assumption on my part. Added new expiry. Kickstarter backer names have been added to POIs. That's sweet. I know there's been a couple of people in recent years that have been upset about the Kickstarter backer features not being added to the game. So it's nice to see that that's finally happened. Think about this too. I've honestly wondered why they haven't added the names for a couple of years now, like since like Alpha 17 or 18. But when you think about it, there's like 500 plus POIs. Now, a lot of them, like the working stiff tools, yeah, those are easy. But I mean, even with multiple people, it's going to take a long time to come up with names from, especially considering they said a lot of the names that aren't backer, related, are going to have relevance to the actual story in the game. Like for example, we saw the one Karen Higashi. Well, there's a Higashi Tower, and it's a pharmaceutical company, so I'm assuming Karen Higashi would be probably the owner or the CEO or whatever, so they couldn't just randomly name them. They probably had to come up with the story and the names, and so I'm super psyched that we're finally going to get names, because it sucked. Like, it took me the longest time to learn the name of the Grace POI. It's House Gambrel 03. So in Alpha 20 or earlier, if you saw in the quest, like, because it'll tell you the distance, and then it'll say the POI name, it's Gambriel 03. You get that? You know you got Grace. Took me forever. Like the 4 skyscrapers are skyscraper 01, 02, 03, 04. I can never remember which one is Higashi, which one is Deshong, the Joe Bros Construction, and then the Crack-a-Book. I can never remember. I always thought I think I do, and then I don't. So it's like, ugh. Let's see. Wall Volumes, Unity Store, Ragdoll, Server Browser Sleeper, Preview Mesh, Max Chunk, Trigger Volumes, Destroy on Close, option to not destroy container if not empty. Allow, new button. Zombie Dog Electrocution Animation. Oh, that's cool. Okay, here we go. Changed. Wrench, Ratchet, and Impact Driver don't play Harvest Hit effect. Didn't know that was... Well, it says changed. So now they don't play the Harvest Hit effect? Oh, that stinks. Sleeper volume skip past spawning when max server sleeper reached. Okay. Adjusted video object quality setting to have less variation. Oh, here you go. Removed extra wood damage boost from normal shotgun shells. Use breaching slugs for this purpose. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Now we won't destroy a freaking POI when we use a shotgun. Let's see. Disabled traders controller so they won't move in place. Disabled traders being hit. So apparently you can't even hit traders anymore. Turned on airdrop markers by default. Here's another good one. Increased supply crate smoke when it's on the ground to 4 minutes. Instead of like 8 seconds. I swear it's super short. It's super short. Hey, Dim, welcome. Yeah, the shotgun change is awesome. Let's see. Debug menu. Dynamic music. Optimized. Updated graphics default. Preset detection for recent GPUs. Optimized water voxel, terrain voxel. Updated damage decal modified. Improved chunk opaque shader. Yes, I don't know what any of this stuff means. Improved voxel mesh array handling. Okay. Improved car block ground alignment. Okay. Okay. Switched graphics SSR reflections to a new system and added an ultra setting. Switched graphics SSAO effect to multi-scale volumetric obscurance, which performs and looks better. Well, I have SSAO on all the time. Screen space ambient occlusion, I think it's what it's called. Yes, so I'm assuming that's been changed to whatever that is. To MSVO. Marking item as a favorite in a creative window no longer switches back to page 1. Okay. Terrain tool. Player skin. Improved distant terrain info memory handling. That sounds like a performance. Improved jiggle performance. Good lord. So we can have more jiggles on the screen, and she'll jiggle, and it won't be as, it'll be more performant. Jeez. Set up all random loot helpers with a loot class so they are counted properly as loot containers for balancing POIs. Sounds cool. Updated all bladed tools and or weapons with a damage boost to zombie corpses for easier removal. If they are not alive and have the tag walker or crawler, they will get the boost. Animal and gore harvest does not receive the boost. Now that doesn't make sense to me because zombie corpses really can't be harvested anyway, and they disappear after like 5 seconds, so I don't really get the point. Lowered menu, microsplat console window, memory optimization, standardized player door HP values and crafting recipes, nice. Improved grace material and texture settings, okay. Master Chef level 1, use 20% less of a recipe's main ingredient and cook 40% faster. 40% on level 1. Master Chef level 2 adds a chance to find meat in dumpsters and cooks 60% faster. Master Chef level 3, use 40% less of a recipe's main ingredients and cook 80% faster. Here you go. Physician level 1 has been changed. Splints and casts cure sprains, not broken arms or legs, sprains instantly. So not only can you now use a splint or a plaster cast when you have a sprain, because right now you can't. If you get a sprain, you can't use it's only like 6 minutes. I say only, but now not only will you be able to use them, but it totally cures it. Yes. Physician level 1 also treated critical injuries heal 15% faster. Physician level 2, 25% faster. Physician level 3, 50% faster. Okay. Cleaned up prefabs. Yeah, that's awesome, because, man, I'll tell you, I hate when I get a sprained leg or arm, because, man, it's only 6 minutes or 8 minutes or whatever, but, man, it feels like forever. Master Chef reduced from 5 levels to 3 and unlocked at strength levels 1, 4, and 7. All food-related crafting recipe times increased 400%. Meat stew is 1 minute and 15 seconds currently and is now 6 minutes and 15 seconds without perks. It is 47 seconds with perk maxed. Yeah. I mean, I guess at least you can buy the first Master Chef at level 1, strength 1, and that's a 40% reduction, so that takes it down by like 2 minutes. Yeah, it's better than nothing, but that's still kind of crappy if you ask me. Yeah, that I agree. That's a head scratcher. Removed acid ingredient from can of sham recipe. Thumbs up on that one. Can of sham recipe is now only 1 craft at a time, but with a much lower craft time. I'm alright with that. Charismatic nature increased from 4 to 5 levels and unlocked at intellect 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I don't really care about that. Vehicle hit damage from entities to be inverse mass ratio, whatever that means. Adjusted vehicle health, they've all been decreased except for 4x4. Increased vehicle collider bounciness. Improved vehicle hit forces on ragdolls. Greatly increased vehicle block damage and self damage. Improved block. Reduce the probability of zombie bears that can spawn during the game stage 38 zombie animal wandering horde. Increased vehicle block terrain and entity damage given and received by various amounts. Like I said, Karma. I don't know. It is such a head scratcher. I really don't get why. I mean, I could see increasing it maybe, but like by 4 times. My guess would be most people don't take much of the I always took at least like 2 to 3 Master Chefs currently because it unlocks a bunch of recipes. But since they're now removing all recipes, if they left it the way it was, it probably wouldn't be desirable like at all. I have to say, with those times, I'm definitely putting at least 1 point into it. 40%, that's a huge drop from 6 minutes. Of course, that's also only meat stew. I mean, that's not like grilled meat and stuff. So we'll have. I mean, it's 400. I think grilled meat is 10 seconds. That means 40 seconds for. I mean, that's not that bad, but yeah. Optimize random world gen stamp drawing, water map cleanup, smooth street tiles, and water map creation time. Here you go. This one is one of the things that I think is I think it's nonsensical change, and I think it's a bad change. Recipes for regular robotic turret ammo now use lead instead of iron. Armor piercing uses half iron and half lead. Why? There are people already don't really use the. I mean, it doesn't seem like most people use the turrets as it is, and that's when the ammo. I mean, now you have to have lead. I'm gonna guess it's still. I think it was 3 iron per, so I'm guessing it'll be 3 lead. Not that lead's hard to find, but yeah, I don't. It just seems nonsensical. I don't see why they changed it. First of all, it's supposed to be like a scrap spitter. That's kind of the whole point. But again, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, I don't know. Yes, but again, that's only for armor piercing. Armor piercing uses half iron, half lead. Again, I'm like, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But the regular ammo, that seems weird. I don't really get that change. I mean, I get it because it makes sense that it shoots lead, but lead is not nearly as common as iron. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's really going to deter people, but my thought on it is not many people use it because of other reasons, and it's like you're just throwing another reason not to use it. And I don't mean like people are going to go, oh, it's crap. It's now I have to go out of my way to get something that before I could just use iron, which you get everywhere. You get it from scrapping stuff. Oh, another thing. You know how, and this is one of those things, it's a small pet peeve. Right now, there's all these little miscellaneous things like fishing lures, the doorknobs, the candelabras, all that stuff for brass and lead. They removed all of that. None of that is any longer in loot. So you won't be getting any lead from like the fishing lure. Those have all been removed. The book that gives you doorknobs on doors when you bust them, instead of giving doorknobs, it just gives you scrap brass. It's on here. I'll get to it. Oh yeah, I do too. Eventually, I mean, you've seen me. I've got right now in this world, I'm only on day 28. And I think I've got like nine bundles of lead, and then like another 14 or 15,000. But I'm also on day 28. I'm not on day. Well, I guess you don't really find the robotic turrets that early either anymore. So, yeah, like I said, I don't think it's going to deter anybody that uses it. But it's one of those things where there's already a couple of minor things like demolishers being triggered. Again, that's also a much later game. But then there's people you got to worry about putting it down and forgetting to pick it up. And I think it's just one of those things that doesn't really make sense to change it. But yeah, I don't think it's really going to deter anybody that wants to use it. The main reason I don't use it is because I forget to pick it up all the time. Let's see. Optimize random world, gen smooth road terrain, improves smoothing method, and does many more passes. Performance, optimized imposter generation speed. Improved AI finding screamer spawn position. F screamers. Reduced the price of Grandpa's Forgetting Elixir and made them sellable to traders. Grandpa's Forgetting Elixir now has a low chance to be found in Tier 5 loot chests. Thumbs up to that. I'd never use it, but, I mean, maybe I would if I found one for free. Rabbits, chickens, and snakes now give 5 bones with axes, knives, and steel knuckles. Okay, cool. Update decliners. Players now... Oh, here you go. Players now start with 2 jars of water. You used to start with 1, and remember, it used to only give 20 water, now it gives 40. So that's enough to get you easily through the first day. Improved Blood Moon, Screamer, and Wandering AI finding spawn locations. Here's one that I think is really weird. Basic light bulb recipe now requires a headlight in the recipe. Does anybody use basic light bulbs? They kind of suck. In fact, the reason I don't use the electric system is because it causes a lot of frame rate issues when you use like more than like 5 or 6 lights. And you get like 15 blocks away and the light disappears. I don't mean the light itself, that does happen, but like the light it puts out, it becomes dark. So yeah, I don't. It's a shame because I love the electric system. I'd love to use it more, but between the frame rate issues and the fact that the lights don't show from hardly any distance, they're useless. I much prefer the lanterns because the lanterns give way more light, which is odd. and they don't require electricity, and they don't seem to cause the frame rate issues. I genuinely don't understand. Let's see. Improved AI corpse eating positioning. Removed reading materials from the mods category and trader inventory. That makes sense. Bunch of trader changes. Removed legacy, don't care. Hunter's Journal Volume 7 now refers to humanoids and zombies. That must be the hunting. Yeah, that's probably the one that says it does extra damage to humans. And I was always like, does that mean zombies? They used to be humans? Well, yeah, exactly. I always have my helmet light on anyway, but it's like, I like the idea of the light system, but it's limited in ways that don't make sense. I mean, it does. They said the reason is performance, obviously. And I think they even said it was because on multiplayer servers, they're worried people will spam a bunch of lights and it'll crash the server, which, I mean, I guess that's true. Here we go. I know some people are going to be really happy with this. You know how weapons, tools, and all that have a random value when they're found or crafted? Well, I don't think they do when they're crafted, but when they're found, they can have slightly higher or lower stats. Reworked all tool and weapon tier bonus and random stats to prevent crafting overlap between quality tiers. I'm going to guess that means you're not going to find a tier 6 that's worse than like a tier 3. At least I'm hoping. Improved White River and Trader Flag, Albedo and Alpha Clip, whatever that means. Removed attacks per minute penalty from melee tools and weapons. Don't know what that means. Remove random attacks per minute from remove random stamina loss from melee weapons and tools? What? What does that even mean? Removed random magazine sizes from ranged weapons. Now that I know. I've noticed that. Removed random rounds per minute. Oh, I guess that means... Oh, I get it. It means now that the swing speed and stuff is going to be standardized. It will never be slightly higher. I never even noticed that on melee weapons and tools. Remove random rounds per minute. I'm guessing that means they all fire at the same rate. Okay, I'm assuming that's what that means. Oh, here you go. Here's a good one. Tier 3 chests now have 5,000 hit points. They used to have 7,000. And Tier 4 chests now have 7,500 hit points. They used to have 10,000. Move lockpicking skill to intellect. Updated White River flag. Control sensitivity UI. Gear Master, Strong Arm. Adjusted. Increased mutated zombie damage. Oh, lovely. Mutated zombie ranged attack is a higher priority and triggers at a longer range if target is unreachable. Oh, wonderful. Rename spawning wandering horde command. Here we go. Wandering enemies do not spawn near or just after a blood moon. So there you go. Thank goodness. Ooh, Rule 1 cardio also affects swimming run speed. Adjusted Grace's attack range, damage, health, and experience. Yeah, I gotta admit, Grace was kind of weak sauce. Not always. Like, I've died to her a couple times, even in Alpha 20, because I'm an idiot. But, yeah, she needed an increase in hit points at the very least. Let's see. Boosted headshot damage of all rifles in a tiered zombie fashion. For example, a headshot with no perk, no mod, pipe rifle will one-shot, one kill an Arlene, but not a thug, soldier, or biker. Makes sense. Cleaned up swimming and head and water handling. Separated handling of player camera and head and water. Rewrote entity and camera and water checks. Improved water shader to show surface when underwater. That's nice. Adjusted player water height that starts swimming. Improved player swim movement. Speed-based drag. Increased player swim speeds. Mutated zombie XP is now 400, 750, and 1200 for regular, feral, and radiated. I wasn't aware it was different, but I guess it must have been. Now here's one that's strange. The recipe for the green drawer now crafts a steel wall cabinet and requires more ingredients. The green drawer is the thing you make with steel and it's like super thin. Does that mean... Well, I'm guessing it changes the name, I'm guessing? Optimized chunk set block? Okay. Re-added the missing Shamway safe to factory large O1. Hey, that was a bug. Well, actually, I don't think it was a bug. They may have just removed it and people didn't like it, so they re-added it. That means if we find a Shamway factory, we can get the Shamway secret recipe again. Nice. Okay. World global ambient balance? Okay. Reduced boar and dog large collider lengths so they get stuck less. No, I like when they got stuck. Cleaned up AI stopping pathing. Reworked perk Great Heist Gems long description to reflect the actual loot items that can be found. Yeah, that's the one thing that says find 10% more gems and precious gems and something in loot, and it's like, well, what does that mean? I guess now it actually says. Vocalization. Hooked up water purifier mod with a buff to prevent losing health when drinking murky water with hands. Or with hands. Yeah, see, the thug, I agree. The thug, he's weird. He seems inconsistent. Sometimes I can hit him 3 times in the head with a headshot and it'll kill him. Other times it takes like 5. With the same weapon and perks. It's weird. Sometimes I wonder if his hit points aren't like random or something. But no, sadly, the thug is not. Yeah. Order of operations. District layout. Wilderness POI spawning is now controlled. Added missing water stat to Sham Chowder. Didn't know it was missing water. Improved occlusion settings, occlusion render precision, occlusion depth culling. Improved explosion dismemberment to handle multiple body parts and corpses. I don't know what that is, but that sounds awesome. Updated garbage decor 1 harvest from paper to cloth to better match the new artwork visuals. Updated garbage decor 2 harvest from paper to polymers to better match the new artwork visuals. Okay. Corn on the cob is now grilled corn, requires the cooking grill, but no longer requires boiled water. I never minded that it required boiled water, but why didn't you get a jar back when you used it? Or, I don't know, a lot of this stuff just never made sense. Yucca juice is now unlocked with the food crafting skill magazines and requires a cooking pot to craft. Drinking murky water does 5 health damage. Boiled water requires things. Prices at food and candy machines... At food and candy vending machines are now the same as base trader prices. Markup changed from 1 to 3 to match trader. No, that means candy's now going to be 300 dukes. If I'm reading that right. Boo! No, Karma, believe it or not, I don't think he's a dev, he's one of the mods on the official forums. He tried to claim that, because it seems to only happen with the primitive bow. It doesn't seem to happen with the wooden or the crossbows. And this is one. Supposedly, that's because even at close range, an arrow can be inaccurate with a primitive bow. Mother freaker, if I'm pointing it at your face a foot away, it ain't gonna miss. So he claims that that's not a bug, that's intended. Now, sorry, I ain't buying it. That's one of the reasons I don't use bows, is because, yeah, the wooden bow and that stuff doesn't, but I'm turned off by it, so, yeah. I mean, assuming that I was reading the thing on the forums correctly, I was just like, what it was is it was a thread started by somebody like us saying, what's with the primitive, what's with the bow? I shoot from like 2 feet away and it goes right through their chest and their head. Sometimes, most of the time, in my thing. And one of the, again, I'm pretty sure he's a mod, not a dev. He's one of the moderators on the forums. He's like, no, that's intended. It's because it's a crap quality and you're not going to guarantee to hit. And the guy was like, dude, I'm standing like 3 blocks away. How is it missing him? And like, sorry, no, disagree. We can agree to disagree because that is BS. I understand if it was like far away, but when you're less than like 3 or 4 blocks, pretty much point blank, it is not going to go through their chest or head. You're not going to miss. Sorry. No. Traders no longer sell seeds, bones, meat, vegetables, and other food crafting ingredients in bundles of 5. When I first read that, I was like, no, they're not going to sell. No, they're just not going to sell them in sets of 5. Removed 5 water stat from cornbread. I don't remember cornbread having water stat. In fact, I thought it had. Oh, maybe I think it was a -5 water. Concrete mix sold by Trader is now governed by Trader Stage, unlocked at Trader Stage 20 with the workbench and cement mixer. Yeah, I remember reading that. Apparently, the traders, the way they've fixed their loot inconsistencies or their, whatever, their inventory, traders now have a game stage basically that it's called Trader Stage. I don't know how you increase it. My assumption would be doing their quests. Like when you unlock tier 2, it probably increases their Trader Stage. Again, assumption. Other than here, I haven't seen that mentioned anywhere else in the patch notes. In the first dev stream, they did mention the trader staging, and they explained it briefly, but I don't remember if they explained how it worked. I like that concept. I like the game stage concept because I like progression. I know some people don't. And let's be honest, for most of this game's existence, every time they've added the game stage, loot stage, yada yada, biome game staging and stuff, it's been broken as hell. And it sounds like in Alpha 21, they really are working hard on dialing in everything to get everything like nice and consistent with no loopholes where you can just skip massive chunks of progression. My concern is repeated playthroughs. It might, if it drags on a little too much, like if the progression is a little too slow, it might make me less excited to start a new game. I don't think that's going to be the case because I absolutely love progression, but I'm concerned that some people might really hate because I mean, even right now in Alpha 20, there's still like they got rid of all of the exploits with traders where you could make insane numbers of dukes, craft craft picnic tables, and like I think it was Alpha 17. You could craft like 500 picnic tables for super cheap and then sell them for like 70,000 or 60,000 dukes. It was crazy. And they've slowly fixed all these little exploits where you could make huge chunks of leaps of progression. And it sounds like in Alpha 21 they've really clamped, in a good way, they've clamped down and made it where you're really not going to be able to skip huge chunks of progression. I got a feeling some people are really going to be unhappy initially. I'm sure they'll adjust, but I think I think you're going to hear a lot of whining. Probably not right away, but not long into it. Let's see. Here's one I think's nice. Added a material hit point multiplier to the broken sidewalk shapes to match other broken, destroyed shape hit points. Basically, they're concrete plates is basically what they are. But there's some of them that are like the broken, but they still have the 5,000 concrete hit points. So it sounds like now they're going to have like the 500. Because there's been a couple of times I've wanted to destroy those because they look horrible, and I want, yeah, 5,000 hit points, screw that. Let's see. Yucca juice now requires 1 water and 1 yucca. POI safes now downgrade to open versions when empty. I think that's awesome. Removed drinks from cabinets and cupboards. Removed clean water from most loot. Tea, coffee, and yucca drinks are now very rare in most loot groups. Removed drink jar pure mineral water from water coolers and jugs. Aw, no more super water. The blue water barrels are no longer lootable. Oh no, here's something I didn't know. Where is it? Adjusted vehicle loot to no longer skip tier 0 tools and weapons. When I thought about it, yeah, you never find... Wait, no, you find pipe weapons in cars, don't you? You find stone axes and stuff? Huh. Maybe that was a bug that happened during Alpha 21 development and they fixed it. Reduce the amount of gas found in loot. Yeah, whatever. Lockpicking is the default action for pickable chests. I don't really know what that means. Maybe when you hit the button to try to open it, instead of having to hold the button to bring up the lockpick, you just hit it and it'll automatically bring it up if you have a lockpick, I guess. Reduced all drinks found in loot by 50%. Reduced all clothing found in store loot. Optimized block rotation calculations. Converted something. Updated book bundles with new book names. Optimized occlusion shadowcaster handling by skipping when initially added. Yeah, whatever that means. Heavy armor UI template to show new armor values. Kill console, blah, blah, blah. Great heist perk now lets you find 20% more lockpicks and loot rather than unlock lockpick crafting. The Great Heist, they double posted it. The Great Heist Volume 3 Time Charge is now Gold Rush. Find 10% more dukes and cash and safes. Yeah, that one I really like. Volume 3 Steel Spears now adds 25% chance to cause bleeding. Adjusted ragdoll min and max angles, whatever that means. Ah, okay, here, this is one I'm concerned about. Art of Mining Completion perk. That's the one that currently gives you a 20% chance to one-shot ore. It says here that that perk now grants 20% more ore instead of 20% more damage. Except it wasn't 20% more damage. It's 20% chance to one-shot ore. If that really is the case, that's a bummer. I mean, yeah, 20% more ore is nice, but I'd much rather have that 20% chance to one-shot blocks. Art of Mining Volume 7 is mining tools do 10% more damage instead of unlocking helmet crafting. Sprinting with a club uses 20% less damage. Laundry, Okay, it lists all the different loot things that now show the downgraded effects where it's now open. Max repeat rate set to 0 for refrigerator running sounds. The fact that there's no electricity, but yet you can hear refrigerators running that's funny to me. Ooh, the Wild West coffins are no longer lootable. Ooh. Improve ragdoll animation blending. Reduce delay between a chunk changed. Reworked quest reward vehicle bundles to guarantee one of the major vehicle components. I'm sorry, that is useless. I'm probably one of the few that thinks that's worthless. I remember the first time I got... Well, it wasn't the first time. Okay, I remember the first time I picked one of the vehicle bundles because you could... When you do the Tier 1 quest, you always have a choice of a bicycle. Always, 100% of the time. But from Tier 2 and on, there's a chance the completion will give you a vehicle bundle. And the first time I think I got like a motorcycle, and it gave me the whole motorcycle. I was awesome. But like the second or third time I did it, it gave me like, I think it was the 4x4, and it gave me like just the chassis. Well, what the hell good is that? I know you can find the other part in loot, but yeah, if I'd have known that, I wouldn't. That's why since then I never choose it's stupid. I mean, yes, you can find it, but what are the chances you're going to find the other part? Maybe, well, I mean, I guess it's possible you'd find the schematic in loot or something, but yeah. People are going to mod the tools damage. Yeah, well, to be fair, I do, so. That is definitely true. Alright. Now, here's one that's kind of a bummer. Well, yes and no. Adjusted enemy animals forest night spawn to reduce nightly meat delivery. Boo! That means the meat delivery system is going to be reduced at night in the forest. Although, at least that means Fluffy won't be eating me as much. Optimize zombie animation state transitions. I wonder if that's referring to when they do the crawling animation and it's instant and they drop down and immediately punch you in the frickin' foot. Now here's something I'm not a fan of, if it's what I think it is. Just because of inventory issues. Remove the ability to scrap food items. Now I assume food items means cans. Remove the action of getting a jar or can back after eating or drinking. Well, obviously there's no more empty jars or empty cans. No wolf fight. What's it? It didn't say none, it just says reduced. Doors now give scrap brass instead of doorknobs with the Wasteland Treasures Volume 5. Most recipes now use water instead of murky water. Remove jars and cans from recipes. Remove snowball murky water recipe, which makes sense because there's no longer empty jars. Now here's one I think it makes sense, but I don't know, I'm kind of annoyed by it. First aid bandages now use bandages instead of cloth. That's not a problem. It's just now you have to make a bandage and then make another bandage into a first aid. It's like an extra step for no real reason. Not like I said, it's not. You don't need a recipe or what do you call it, a schematic to make a bandage, so it's not really an issue. It's another one of those really weird changes. Oh, okay. You know how some people complain, and when you try to shoot around something, like for example, a couch. If you try to shoot like from the side where there's no part of the couch and it hits like an invisible collider, they fixed a bunch of those. Yeah, an extra step, exactly. So, adjusted colliders on sectional furniture block prefabs to help prevent projectile issues. Adjusted colliders on coffee table shape to help prevent collection or projectile issues. Cleaned up zombie animation, sleeper transition, and cripple leg triggers. Not really sure what that means. Boiled water to water. I guess it means change. Oh, changed boiled water to water and updated other references to the boiled version. Here's one that breaks my heart. Updated XML for all perk books to fire the 7 out of 7 completion event sound only once. You know how once you read the 7th book in a series and then you get another one in that series and you read it and it keeps playing the sound? It ain't going to do that no more. I love that little sound. I knew they were going to fix it. Updated all mushroom variants with new art and icons. Wires now hide when you are not holding the wire tool. It says wire 2, but it means tool. Water purifier mod description is now more accurate. Block shape rotations. Updated the old TV recipes into one TV block variant helper recipe. That's cool. Here you go. This is a big one to me. Workbench recipe now uses duct tape and nails instead of the hammer and wrench. Well, now keep in mind, Avenger, it just mentioned like two things, but hopefully there's more. But yeah, I've never had too many issues with it, but I have had issues. So now the workbench doesn't require a hammer and wrench. That is fantastic. Reduce spare tire shine? Okay. Removed medical bandage, medical aloe cream, and medical splint from the medical crafting skill as they are now unlocked by progression. Duh. Rebalanced mailbox loot to give a better mix of the quote day 1 perk books and skill magazines. Yeah, that's a huge one on the workbench. Added movement added stability support to the 5x4 door to allow building on top. And then it says Rainer, R-A-N-E-R in parentheses. I have no idea, or yeah, in parentheses. I have no idea what that means. Updated some localization mistakes that were confusing Japanese players. Oh, my poor Japanese brothers, man. I feel bad for you. Remove tags that allowed... Now, see, I didn't know this was possible. Remove tags that allowed ranged weapon mods to be installed into the robotic drone. Because when I first read that, I was like, of course you can put ranged weapons in the... Oh, drone. No, you shouldn't be able to put weapon mods in a drone. Why would you want to? It won't do anything. That's probably a holdover from when they were originally going to put weapons, allow it to attack zombies for you. Updated the collider on the end table lamp to allow harvesting while aiming at the lamp itself. Thank you, God. I was just doing that earlier today. Trying to harvest the lamp that's sitting on some of those things. You have to like get it at exactly the right position or it won't let you harvest. And you'll hit the block behind it and under it. Just, ugh. Thank you. Removed admin pistol key. I don't care about that. Wood door to use a single audio. Don't care. Secure wood door to have a state and stage 2 health of 1. So frame is left. Okay, whatever. Animation polish pass for vulture. Slightly adjusted skinning on LOD 0. Updated a bunch of materials. Reworked Survivor Site 1. Update block blaster. Now here's one that I'm hoping is going to be a thing. Updated business glass, bulletproof glass, and glass opaque to support new transparent shader. Now it says shader. I'm hoping it means it's not the bulletproof glass isn't going to have that nasty, soapy looking texture. God, that's hideous. Updated materials and properties to support new transparent shader. Removed. Da, 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 blah, 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 blah. Network prioritization now applies to players in close proximity. Canceling the quest accept screen from the trader now takes you back to the quest list instead of exiting out of the menu entirely. Thank you. Perk, living off the land, crafting recipe, and progression boost now properly set up for 3 levels instead of 5. Added a take all option for output on workstations. Thank you. Now is a list of fixed. My God, this is like 3 hours now, 2.5. Jesus. Okay, these are things that have been fixed. Mods can be used from the tool belt. Okay. Exploit with the turret camera view can be used as an X-ray device. Okay, vehicle audio transitions. Colors for party members are now applied to their map marker on clients. That's nice. Obviously, I'm skipping a bunch. Vehicle placement preview has the headlights on. I thought that was intentional. Docks 04 collapses when you or a zombie walks on it. Burning barrel has lighter smoke particles now. Yeah, I noticed them. It was like solid. Various vehicle item dupes. I never experienced any of those really, but well, I mean I have, but not since like Alpha 16 or 17. Let's see. Closing workstation UI triggered 5 modifies with which each sent a network update. Oh God. Each workstation update was sending network data while idle. Dang, no wonder network online is like so screwed up. Hostile animals run forward while electrocuted from stun baton. You know, I think that's actually happened to me. Left-hand knuckle weapon disappears if camera is locked while in third person. Too many frame shapes in one chunk breaks it. Ugh. Zombie loot bag drop attempts are triggered on chunk load. Blood Moon zombies spawn too slow with multiple parties. Block health action can now remove custom amounts of health, whatever that means. Teleport to target action now can teleport others to the target instead. Okay. Part spawning always picks the same part. Well, that's an unfortunate bug. 2 people lockpicking the same container can cause a bug. Disappearing trees on quest POI reset. Reflex sight for the tactical assault rifle doesn't work. Wow, I don't know how I never noticed that. Parts with different casing and name won't spawn in random world gen. Well, it's parts, not POI, so that's not as bad. Falling trees did not remove occlusion tracking it. Gee, I wonder if that was causing frame rate issues. Screamers shouldn't spawn during boss hordes? It doesn't say Blood Moon, it says boss hordes. What the hell is a boss horde? It sounds awesome, I want it. Oh, Twitch boss horde icon. Okay, so it must be a Twitch feature. Advanced random world gen with Pine Forest set to 0 causes no spawn points. Yeah, that's because they've finally fixed the game a long time ago now. You can only spawn in the Pine Forest now. You can't spawn in any other biome. I remember spawning in the Wasteland. That was not fun. Japanese localization mistakes for robotics inventor perk descriptions level 25. What? All turrets target supply crates? What? Oh, no, this one I didn't know. Blocks stacked very high on top of POIs are partially immune to quest resets. Interesting. Inactive bedrolls are not removing from quest POIs. Pressing tab plus escape at the same time breaks the GUI, graphical user interface. Some zombies use the old feral eye material or shader. Now, this I genuinely don't know what it is, but I want to know. Japanese localization uses gigolo points. I don't know what that is, but it sounds awesome. Black lines and dots on shiny materials. Spelled shiny wrong, but that's alright, I think. Now, I actually saw one of the videos from Guns, Nerds, and Steel, and he showed on, I want to say it was Bulletproof Glass, but it was glass. There was a bunch of dots. I've never seen it, but apparently that is indeed a thing. If a 4x4 or gyrocopter is reduced to 0 hit points by zombies, they can't be blown up and grant XP per hit. Interesting. Hub. I don't know. Players could interact with sliding door frames. I don't know what that means. Now this one I've had happen. Chainsaw and or auger not restarting idle sounds after refueling. It's been a long time, but I've had that happen. Now this one I wonder if motorcycle back wheel sphere colliding and bouncing off of curbs excessively. I don't know if that's happened, or if it means like excessively as in like it bounces you in the air or something. Because the motorcycle bounces off everything and it drives me crazy. Sometimes blood moon fog density is too thick. I've seen that. Zombies who die from walking through a fire from a Molotov now awards XP for the kill. I thought they fixed that in Alpha 20. Apparently not. Several firearms have an issue with the left-hand pinky. Okay. Pain tolerance level 1 prevents bleed damage? What? Changing ammo types while reloading weapons desyncs animation. I bet you that's how I've messed up the Magnum a couple of times. Player feet poke through the 4x4. Supply crates can be killed by falling trees. What? Blank menu, mod attachment indicator icon. Player isn't always seated properly on gyrocopter? I've never had that issue. Mod attachment indicator icon doesn't update in real time when switching between items. Yeah, I've had that happen. Light LOD script now updates all emissive materials instead of just one. If a client passenger is killed in the vehicle, they fail to respawn. Oh, that's not good. Wandering AI would often not spawn due to end position being too far. Water can be exploited to avoid blood moon hordes entirely. That's the zombies can now spawn in water. It is possible to receive tier complete rewards twice. Yeah, I don't think I've ever hit that one, but I've seen other people have that happen. Can no longer accept a new quest without turning in the previous one. Armor functions at 0 durability. I didn't know that was a thing until I saw just recently Guns, Nerds, and Steel was mentioning it. Apparently that was indeed a bug, and it's now fixed. Double consumables usage. I've had that happen. Chainsaw issues with harvesting rabbit and chickens? What? Weird. You would not attach to ladders while swimming and feet off ground. Okay. Sexual Tyrannosaurus killing blow stamina bonus not granted? Ooh. That's not good. Player trying to crouch walk up a ladder usually did not attach to ladder. Player swimming up with jump was very slow. Player can camera clip underground. Yep. I've had that happen. End table lamps can be used to X-ray exploit. I didn't know that. Wood particle effects cause lag. What? Are you serious? Added a collider to the front of the motorcycle to prevent them from getting stuck in or on other objects. Huh. Adjusted the vault hatch door collider to prevent players from getting stuck. Never had that happen. Water is only visible from a medium distance while in underwater bases. Player can't loot anything after POI reset while in loot container. Ooh, that's a bad one. How could you even reset the POI if you're in the loot? The only way you can reset it is if you start a quest, but the POI, the loot room's always way too far away. Unless they happen to be there right. That's weird. Adjusted collider on old chair to allow projectiles to pass under them. Adjusted colliders on several duct prefabs to allow projectiles to pass by them easier. Harvest bar stops decreasing after power attack. Thank you. Now this one I probably had happen, but I've never noticed. Workstation overflow into inventory halves output quantity. So you lose half the stuff. Yeah, that... I've never noticed it, but if that does happen, that sucks. Vending machine does not shock with the robotic sledge. That's hilarious. Animals not using sleeper pose. I think dogs are the ones that usually don't use the sleeper pose. Entities visually turning when spawned. I think that's the one where they're on the ground and they spin before they get up. Zombie sleepers visually sliding upwards when spawned. I don't think I've ever seen... I've seen them like where they slide across the ground when they're dead, but usually it's animals, I think, though. Vehicle preview gets stuck at the end of placement range. Yep, I've had that. Vehicle placement motion was not smooth. This one. Vehicle placement could show as red when initially at a good location. That's why I don't even bother looking at the color anymore. I just I hit the button to throw it down. Renamed all references to stripper zombie to party girl in game events XML. Now here's an interesting one. Crippled legs would prevent dismemberment. Adjusted the colliders on the pool table prefabs to allow projectiles to pass over and under. Ah, here's something that Minecraft could learn from. Added property name water flow value permitted to several ladder type blocks and shapes to prevent them from acting as air underwall. From acting as air underwater when falling. In Minecraft, not on the Bedrock version, which is on console mostly, and mobile, but on the Java PC version, you can place doors and stuff underwater and then stand in them, and you can breathe because it creates an air hole, air pocket. God mode doesn't prevent death in multiplayer. Oh, God, that sucks. Gun impact particles shown on lake bed instead of surface. That's funny. Tier 2 chest and Tier 1 fast food 1. Tier 2 chest and Tier 1 diner 03. Sawmill 01 quest loot visibly clipping into vent. Spot on the roadside and nav is gained that isn't finished. EAC crashing the game on Mac OS Monterey. Using Grandpa's Forgetting Elixir will no longer reset character level to 1. Oh, that would suck. Using mouse wheel to cancel hunting rifle reload skips reload timer. Damn. You have no idea. I am skipping so much stuff. Updated colliders on tilt trucks, doghouse, concrete destroyed 06, and concrete half destroyed 06 to allow projectiles to pass through or around. Updated colliders in several fence shapes to allow projectiles to pass through. Crawler and spider zombies from standing when getting up from ragdoll. Zombie attack animation hit timing and improved blend choices. Hoping that also has something to do with the crawling animation where they instantly can crawl and hit you. Consumables used but not granting benefits when quickly switching tool belt selection and opening or closing inventory. I'm pretty sure that's happened to me. Added missing radiated tag on businessman radiated and utility worker radiated. Ugh. Using mouse wheel to cancel magnum reload skips reload timer. Yep, that one I noticed. Because it works even with a controller. I knew they were going to fix that. I mean, that was just ridiculous. I loved it, but it was ridiculous. Corrected Japanese localization typos. Optimized oak trees for improved performance. Zombie dogs not shocked by electric fences. I've had that happen recently. On this world I'm playing right now. Cleaned up book perk logic. Updated colliders and meshes on several stairs with railings to help AI navigation. Rock on. Adjusted colliders on road railings to allow crawlers to crawl or path under them. Added missing comma to penetrator perk to allow it to work with spears. Really? You couldn't put that in one of the minor updates? This one I've just had happen today. Adjusted colliders on drawbridge hydraulic arms, preventing placement of blocks across the top, but only while it was in the closed position. There's 2 spots, one on each side. You have to open the bridge, place the blocks, then close the bridge. Yeah, it was weird. Zombie dog is running too slow. What? Adjusted blend tree so the animation plays at full play rate. The wrench, ratchet, and impact driver are using the incorrect animation for harvesting. I would assume that's the one where it does the power attack swing. I'm gonna guess. Not all bleed debuff have the bleed particle effects. Knife harvest can easily hurt other players if they are standing within a block and a half of you. Damn. Replaced zombie dog with updated skinned mesh animations and animator controller. Yeah, it did. It said they fixed the auger issue, the sound issue when it reloads and it stops playing. But that's the only one it said it mentioned. And that's the end of the patch notes. But like I said, I did skip a crap ton, and that is going to be it for this stream. I know it was it was long. 2 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours and 42 minutes. God, my eyes are getting bad. And I know almost all of it was just pretty much yammering away, but I wanted to kind of share the patch notes, the general stuff with you guys. So, yeah, so excited. And like I said, there were a handful of things that I'm a little kind of leery a little bit, but not really. So, I honestly, for the most part, I think the things that are potentially an issue, it'll be like the food changes in Alpha 19 where they made food harder to get initially and people freaked out and I'm starving to death, and then all of a sudden after a couple of weeks nobody started talking about it anymore because people adjusted. So I'm hoping that'll be the case here. I'm just happy to see an update. Yeah, supposedly, and it's like everything else, take it with a grain of salt because it is the Fun Pimps. They claimed, Rick and Joel claimed that Alpha 22 is going to be a pretty short dev cycle, and I don't think they said why. My guess is the few things that they wanted for 21 that they couldn't get in, like the bandits and the armor update and a couple of other minor things they're mostly done but not finished. I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to finish them, polish them, and then they're just going to throw it out the door. And I'm hoping that's the case because, and again, they said it, doesn't mean it's going to happen, but Rick said that they're hoping to release the console version alongside Alpha 22. And since they're developing them simultaneously, that means hopefully the console version will start on 22. So I'm going to assume if it is a short dev cycle that it's probably going to be about 6 months-ish, which hopefully puts it around the end of the year. But again, fingers crossed, wishful thinking, because I'm telling you, I'm going to be all over that console version like white on rice. So looking forward to that. I don't even know why, because it literally will be the exact same game as PC, except it'll probably run slightly worse. Not that that's really an issue, I don't care. I don't expect PC performance from a $500 console. I'm sorry, I have a brain, I know it's not as powerful. I'm laughing at some people like, oh, the console version's not going to run at 60 frames per second. Oh, you think, genius? The PC version barely runs at 60 frames per second. Not obviously not all the time, but sometimes. So yes, just people are goofy in their expectations. My video card costs twice as much as a PlayStation 5, and I don't get 60 frames per second all the time. You're delusional if you're expecting that on console. I think it's going to probably be 60 for some times, and then probably more like 30 for most of the time. I am A-okay with that. If I wanted PC performance, I'd buy a PC. Oh, wait, I did. I don't care. I'm super psyched for the console version, and I'm looking forward to playing it. Even though, like I said, I really don't understand why, because it's going to be the exact same game. Except, it'll be, like I said, slightly more limited, no mods, but I just don't care. It'll be so awesome to play on a console again. And plus, I know so many people that are wanting to play this game on console. So, yes, yes, and more yes. Anyway, as I said, that's going to be it for today. This is, like I said, this is the last Alpha 20 content you guys will see from me. I will be spending the entire weekend watching multiple Alpha 21 streams. I suggest if you guys are interested and you don't care about spoilers, watch away. Feel free to post on my Discord or on any of my videos or whatever, this video in the future if you want to talk. Otherwise, I will see you guys again on Monday. Basically, I intend to stream the moment it becomes available. I do have a doctor's appointment at like 10:40 in the morning, but it's one of those in and out, talk to him, in and out in 5 minutes, and I doubt it'll be released that early in the morning. I'm thinking probably more like noon, 1 o'clock. But again, the Fun Pimps themselves don't know, so you can't predict it when the people making it don't. So I will see you all on Monday, and I hope to do like a 6 or 8 hour stream on Monday. Definitely going to stream again on Tuesday, and then after that, it'll probably be mostly videos every single day for many months to come. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. And as I said, spoilers. The experimental build or playthrough, I'm planning on trying spears because I really want to try the new spear. And yep, that'll do it. So enjoy the streamer weekend if you're into that. If you're not, I will see you either way on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody, and yeah, just take it easy. I'll see you guys in Monday's stream.